Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of the Boxing Coalition. My name is Cam. Joining me tonight, Chemo, Naota and Hamada. Hope you guys are well. Chemo, what a weekend we had in Glasgow.
Man, Cam, I'm truly fucking blessed to have spent that amazing, epic, crazy ass weekend with you and Lim in Glasgow, man. The Scottish people gave us a very warm welcome, and as most people know, the fight just exceeded expectation, man. It was fucking nuts in there, so I can't wait to talk about it. What a night.
It was great. Obviously, Lim's not on the show. He's just currently on a plane flying back, so we'll probably get his opinion next week. We might get it today if he jumps on Skype on his way home from the airport. But let's get into the weekend, Chemo. Like you, I loved it. Spending time with you guys, man. You're like my brothers. And we had a good weekend. We had a good laugh. You annoyed the fuck out of me. You guys saw my obsessive OCD with certain things and my crazy organization skills. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, man. Let's start with the fight then. Atmosphere. I know you were at the weigh-in. It was crazy in there. You towered above everyone and got some great footage of the face-off and the little scuffle that occurred. But the fight itself, Chemo.
Yeah, man. I mean, I went to the weigh-in as well because I got in earlier than you guys in Glasgow, and I just had to fucking go. So I got a bit worried actually being there because when I went there and I saw Taylor literally walk in front of me, he looked pretty fucking dry at the weight, man. His cheekbones were pretty caved in, and he looked very bleak. Whereas O'Hara looked in fucking fantastic shape. And both guys, I mean, look absolutely massive at the weight. So I was a bit worried there, and it never really occurred to me how big Josh Taylor actually is, at 140, and it's the dude is absolutely massive, and he doesn't really, in his frame, he doesn't really compromise anywhere. You know what I mean? Like O'Hara obviously wouldn't be able to make the weight if he had a little bit of muscle on his legs, but Taylor is just built fucking well everywhere, man. He got good set of legs under him. Maybe O'Hara's back's a little bit bigger, but also in height, man. Taylor is just massive. So that already got me pumped up, and obviously there was a little bit of a scuffle, a little bad blood there as well. And then the night of the fight, I mean, I don't know where to start, man. I took a lot of notes actually because I'm gonna be all over the place probably when I talk about it because I'm still high on the whole atmosphere and the whole event, man. I mean, let's start a little bit about the fight itself. I mean, I think that's where we'll go first, and then we'll maybe get into the other stuff, the people and the atmosphere and all of that. For me, there's two sides to this story. One is the fight that I saw in the arena, actually, and then there's the fight that I saw on TV. And as you know, Cam, in the arena, I was fucking going crazy. so my vision on things is obviously a little bit tainted, a little bit skewed. And I was really, really nervous and really worried for Josh in the first couple of rounds because I saw O'Hara bothering him with that length and, the awkward style that he's got, man. I mean, he does these little side steps, and sometimes he's completely squared up, and sometimes he's the opposite, and he kind of walks sideways like a crab. It's really a strange sight to behold. And the jab was very awkward. I thought the jab was a lot more effective in the arena than actually seeing it on TV. On TV, he never really connected properly with Josh. He never really troubled him with it. He just kept him at bay. And yeah, that in the beginning had me worried a lot. O'Hara was quite aggressive. He was coming forward. I expected Josh to actually come forward. I didn't expect Josh to kind of be on the back foot and just be the boxer in there. And probably for good reason, because one discussion point that we had, Cam, was the jab, right? I think you'd agree with me that the jab of Josh, I know he dropped him with a jab, but O'Hara was already hurt at that point, actually. Something I didn't see in the arena either. But overall, the jab was quite weak, wouldn't you say?
From Josh Taylor.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, like I said last week, he mainly just uses it to get on the inside and just let those hooks off to the body and to the head, man. It was the same. I was worried last week that, he's open to a left hook because he does drop the right hand when he's loading up. But I thought I was really impressed with his concentration throughout the fight. He would pull back, he would roll underneath, he would step to the side. Like his head movement, up on body movement was just on point throughout the whole night. His concentration was good. His hands were either up or he was rolling underneath, man. And there were so many times where O'Hara was going to the head and he would just roll underneath, hook to the body, hook to the body, hook to the head, and it was beautiful to watch, man.
It was. I mean, and that's what I want to get into, because that kind of just, I mean, that was kind of the picture I saw in the first couple of rounds. It was O'Hara making it awkward. Taylor just kind of feeling him out a little bit. He wasn't really engaging that much apart from a few moments, hitting him with a few body shots. But overall, he was quite patient. And for some reason in the arena, because I was going nuts, that kind of worried me. But I should have actually appreciated that, because he was just kind of feeling out the situation. I think he was trying to taste a little bit of O'Hara's power as well, because everybody keeps talking about him like he's such a murderous puncher in the build-up. And I don't know. He probably can punch, but probably not as hard as people made it out to be. And he wasn't really connecting flush, like you said, because Taylor's defense was just absolutely on point. And then you started seeing Taylor loosen up a little bit, and that's when the fucking magic happens, man. I mean, even rewatching it back on TV, this guy, and I'll just say it outright, and I'm not fucking exaggerating and being a fanboy, this guy's inside game, for me, just based off the eye test, right? I'm not talking about against what type of opposition he's doing it for, but visually, technique-wise, what I'm seeing as a longtime boxing fan, that is fucking top 3 in boxing right now. Seriously. His fucking hooks are so short, so fast. His upper body movement and his head movement, the way he can counter on the inside with both hands, by the way, it's not just the left hand. That right hook is vicious. And because of the way he stands in the southpaw stance, like he just has that reach around with the right hook to the body, man. He just digs it in there under the rib cage. It's so quick. It's so fucking quick. It's so beautiful to watch. And I remember when we were sitting there, just like every time he would just do that slip and fucking dig in. I just lost my shit every time he did that. It's truly amazing to watch. And well, yeah, he started loosening up. I did not see O'Hara actually hurt that many times live, but when I watched it back on the broadcast, his legs were stiffening up quite a lot throughout the fight. Did you notice that as well, Cam?
Same as you. In the arena, no, but when I rewatched it today, there were times where he'd stiffen and it's the high guard and he just wanted a few seconds to recover. Yeah,
and it's the same with the knockdown, because he was actually hurt before that by a hook, and he was already kind of all over the place. And then I think that the jab just kind of took his senses away a little bit further, and he just decided to take a knee. Because in the arena, I just thought, like, what the hell? This just came out of nowhere. Like, it's just this guy have a glass chin or what? But he was hurt way before that already.
In the arena, I did notice that he got caught with a shot that did bother him. But I did think in the arena that it was a jab that did most of the damage. But I did see him kind of stumble, so I don't know. In the arena, I thought maybe he got caught with the jab and his footwork kind of went a bit, and that was reason. But when he took a knee, then I thought, why did he take a knee? Why not just grab hold of him or something? But yeah, man. As I said before, Josh, when he throws the when he rolls and throws the counters, he also, what I noticed was he was catching and shooting the hooks a lot, and that was working really well. Like, if O'Hara throws the left hook, he'd block it and throw the right hand straight back, and that's what happened with basically the punch that more or less ended the fight. But just going back to the start, I know we're going to go back and forth. I said to you in the arena, I was surprised that O'Hara came out on the front foot. I just thought he would just be back foot throughout the fight.
It's very strange, because he kind of, I think it was around the third round when it just started kicking off, right? And they started exchanging. And by the way. That's like the best thing that you can hope for, right? You're sitting in the arena and all of a sudden these guys are going toe to toe and everybody's going batshit crazy.
And you're just saying,
yeah,
oh.
Yeah, man, I was all over the place. But, I mean, he just kind of submitted, I think, to being in a fight. And when I say fight, I'm talking about like an inside fight. Because O'Hara stood a lot on the inside, man. He just put the gloves up and he's like, let's put the heads together and let's just exchange. And that's when he got really truly outclassed. I think it was on the mid range where his awkwardness could still kind of be competitive with Taylor, but just Taylor's whole body was so much faster than him. His feet, his the way he bends at the waist and slips is so fast, compared to what O'Hara does. I mean, he didn't stand a chance on the inside.
Watching it back today, I was interested with the Farrar and Alex Arthur on commentary because they were making it out that it was a power puncher versus a guy that should box on the outside, and I thought in every department really, Josh was better. He was better on the outside. He was better fighting in close. Like the only success looking back at the fight today I saw O'Hara having was he had good success to the body. I didn't notice it in the arena, but he would throw these kind of glancing hooks to the body that would, that kind of aim towards solar plexus and kind of come back out. And he was doing a lot of that, and Josh wasn't getting trouble, but anything to the head, he was either getting blocked or rolled underneath. And looking back, I think he would probably regret not going to the body a bit more, because it may have stopped Taylor, slowed him down a bit and just slow his output, because he was throwing through 2-3 punches in combination on the counter, man. It was beautiful to watch.
The right hook of O'Hara was very successful, and we heard that shit in the arena as well, right? There were a couple of like banging thuds that came from it. The left hook was, in my opinion, quite useless.
Yeah, I said it last week. It's wide.
Big difference.
It's very wide, but I thought, if Josh is sloppy and he just kind of jumps in, he might get caught with it. But Josh was on point with his defense, and I thought his straight right to the head was a bit looping. O'Hara's, it wasn't like straight down the pipe enough. It was always kind of looping away to the left, and his uppercuts were useless to the head. Like he was missing so often with the uppercut with both hands.
Yeah, I can. That's a really good point, because Taylor actually gave O'Hara a few moments to get in there, and that's when he was like kind of leaning on the ropes, doing almost what Pacquiao sometimes does, just putting the gloves up and saying, "Come on, man, let's see what you got."
Yeah.
And O'Hara never capitalized truly on it, because he doesn't throw his power hand like straight down the pipe. It's not very straight. It's kind of looping. And it would just end up hitting gloves all the time, even though you have a little bit of an opening in the middle,
Yeah.
the way Taylor's putting his gloves up. So if you can't really throw your right hand properly, what's the other resort? I mean, it's an uppercut, right? Try to get through it like that, through the middle. And I mean, that's his worst punch. It's absolutely terrible. It's very telegraphed. He throws it from the hip, and he threw it quite a lot in the later rounds, and I don't think he had any success with it whatsoever. I felt like he was just throwing it for the sake of throwing it, and just there was no proper setup, no proper technique to it,
no leverage.
Yeah, it looked kind of weak as well, even though he was just like almost, what do you call that? It's like you're scooping up a fucking it's like a Shoryuken punch from Street Fighter, like it's just not good, man. It's very poor technique, and he kept on throwing it without success. I don't know why he kept on doing that.
Yeah. Let's bring Naota into play. Naota, British boxing at its best, man. Someone's all had to go.
Yeah. I honestly though, like just from what I saw of it, I thought Taylor was winning pretty much damn near the whole fight. I mean, there were only like brief moments where you thought Davies might like possibly have him in trouble, and even then, I think that was more so like Taylor kind of just letting off a bit and taking like a windbreak. basically, trying to, catch his breath back and everything to to continue pouring it on and everything, like even on the inside, was shortening everything up much better than Davies was. And I mean, overall, I'm in fair agreements with both you guys with regard to the just how Taylor was able to outbox him both on the inside and on the outside. I thought he went to the body really well as well. Especially when he shot those jabs to the body, I think that gave Davies a lot of pause in terms of coming forward. And there were times where he even kind of feinted to the body, but then he would throw the left hand upstairs. And so then when Davies would kind of wade in to kind of take almost like a double step forward, like a hop step, he would catch him with that right hook almost every single time. And that right hook is really nice. Like he shortens that up really, really nicely.
It's beautiful.
As good as some of the better inside fighters that I could really name. That hook is going to be a really dangerous weapon for him. I think even as he goes up the levels, that's going to be something that translates really well for him. Everything else, I'm still a little bit questionable about, but that hook is definitely something special, I think. But yeah, I mean, to me, this going into it, of course, this was thought of as a fairly evenly matched fight, but you wouldn't necessarily know that by watching it because Taylor seemed to pretty much outbox Davies, bully Davies, kind of push him around and fight at a pace that he was pretty comfortable at for the most part, and Davies was entirely uncomfortable with. Davies always had a little bit of a sense of, I think, almost like kind of panic about his style, like in the way that he approached the fight, like feeling like it was getting away from him the entire time. And even when he was in the trenches where he wanted to be, where he was able to hit Taylor a little bit, there was still like a level of fragility to the way that he was kind of carrying himself, just his overall stance. It almost kind of looked like a very poor man's like Adrian Broner, like just kind of wide-legged, wide-stanced, not really mobile at all, not really mobile with his waist or his like torso, his shoulders or anything at all much either. Just kind of trying to throw these kind of wide looping shots and not really having very much of a setup. He probably should have gone to the body quite a bit more than he did, in order to set up a lot better. And like even just throwing the jab out there, like shooting it as opposed to just kind of pawing it out there, like, slapping it out there, like, cause like Kimo said earlier, it really didn't do anything. It was pretty much blocked almost every time. Some of the shots that he even landed were like more so like on the shoulders and up against, or not on the shoulders, on like the elbows and up against Taylor's guard, not even really landing flush or anything.
Yeah, his jab's almost like a back of the hand punch. It verges on the back of the hand slap.
Yeah. So like, there's really no power on it, and so it's something that could very easily be deflected, even just by having your glove up, it'll just deflect off of it. It's not going to move it at all. But yeah, I mean, Taylor just did a damn good job. Pushed him around, bullied him, beat him up, broke him down, and finished him. It seemed like it was largely accumulation of the blows before that jab, especially wobbled Davies in the seventh round. Of course, he was wobbled in the fifth, I think, as well. And it was just a matter of time. And Davies, I think, was just completely in over his head, and that's pretty much why he chose to go out the way that he did. He was getting hurt, and he had already been pretty much schooled the entire way, and so like he just kind of saved himself the further embarrassment, as he even put it, after the fact of getting like truly like beat down, after already getting kind of outclassed and kind of bullied the entire fight. So I mean, there's not really much more I can say about it other than Taylor did the damn thing. He's ascended, I think, at the very least now to like contender level, and I mean, let's see what he has going forward. He definitely passed this test with flying colors.
Hamada, what did you think of this battle in the Brighthead Arena?
Epic, mate. Epic. I'm buzzing, man. Like, it was just great fight. I don't know where to start, man. I mean, O'Hara's ring walk was amazing. Coming up to the Undertaker theme music.
Kimo was hyped.
Brought back some childhood memories of watching wrestling when I was younger. Don't watch that shit anymore though. But
Don't lie.
no chance, man. My heart was broken when I found out that shit was fake. But yeah, it was great wingwalk, and then they call it that. O'Hara he come out and it's like he was using the kind of like shoulder roll kind of, and he kept lifting his elbow up, which I don't know. Josh Taylor was kind of like at the beginning was trying to figure out like his awkwardness, and then I gave O'Hara, I think, the first round, and then the second round, O'Hara actually was doing all right, and then the last minute of the round, he kind of fell apart, and Taylor got his timing down, found the distance, started winning in, getting his shots off, and then the third rounds, O'Hara as well just fell apart. He got hurt to the body, and then he took a knee off a jab. I mean, I've never seen that before. Like, you get hit by a jab, and then you take a knee. Like,
no, but I think Chemo's point's right. He was hurt before that, and that was like the icing on the cake. I think
Yeah, and the thing is, like, Taylor kind of stepped into that jab, and he got hit flush by it. So that wasn't just a jab. That was really like a power punch.
In the arena, Hamad, at the time, I actually thought he'd twisted his ankle or something, because he stumbled backwards and then like kind of took the knee, and I thought, shit, has his ankle gone or something? So I was watching him in the corner between rounds, and like they weren't aiding anything to the ankle, and when he got up, he was fine. So I thought, yep, it's definitely just an accumulation of those early punches, and then the jab was just the last bit that kind of you thought, nah, I need to recover and take a knee.
He caught him with that jab, and he was off balance, and he had all this weight coming forward as well. But still, man, it's like just to take a knee off. And at that moment,
his legs were gone, Hamada. His legs were gone.
It was a good jab as well, man. It was a stiff jab.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. It was really more like a power punch.
Yeah,
like
it was.
a power
But
jab.
still, come on, man. We've all been hit with stiff jabs before. Like, you don't take a knee off a stiff jab. I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm being harsh. I don't know. But then I actually thought he was gonna quit there. Like, I thought, no way, is O'Hara really gonna quit?
Off a jab.
You could already see it in him.
Yeah, but then I was surprised that he actually gave it a go in the fourth and fifth round, and even in the sixth, he actually caught Taylor with a few decent shots, like nothing that really wobbled Taylor or hurt him, but it definitely caught his attention to where he probably thought, wow, yeah, I felt that one. Do you know what I mean? But O'Hara was just terrible, man. Firstly, he has a weird frame, like. His body is just fucked up, man. His legs are long, his arms are long, his torso's small. He looked like his trunks were up to his chest. He was just all over the place. His punching technique is awful. I mean, like, he telegraphs his punches. Like, his left hook is so wide that by the time it would even hit the target, his body weight has gone out of the punch, because when you throw in your punch, and it comes all the way around like that, by the time the actual glove lands on the person, your body's already turned. Do you know what I mean? So all the body weight that you've put behind that punch is gone. So you're just hitting them with your forearm and your hand. That's why short punches are the best, because when you shorten up your punch, your body's fully turned into behind your hand. And his right hand was kind of sloppy. It was looping. Like, you are right. Like, I noticed that O'Hara did actually quite some good body work, you know. Like, I was thinking some of them body shots may have taken something out of Taylor, but he
hurt him once. He hurt him once to the body. I definitely saw that, man. I think it was maybe the fifth round or something. He threw one time a nice...
And Taylor started going on his bike, innit?
Yeah, he went back, man. He put his gloves up and he took like 5 steps back, man. He was definitely properly... Well, properly. I mean, he was definitely hurt once to the body.
He felt that, basically.
Yeah, he felt it.
Yeah, and then, like, round 6 was a really bad round for O'Hara. Like, I tweeted straight away, like, this is getting ugly now. Like, he's actually getting beaten down. And, like, we gotta give Taylor some credit, because O'Hara's got a weird body, and, like, his torso's so small, and for him to still manage to find his body and slipping them body shots. Because like O'Hara's got long arms, so his elbows are actually covering his body, but it's like the timing of the body shots are perfect. Where he's catching Davies as Davies is throwing himself.
Yep.
Those are the best body shots because number one, he can't see them coming. Do you know what I mean? Because his hand's outstretched and he's looking at the target because he's trying to hit the target. But then he's getting clapped to the body, and those ones hurt much more. Do you know what I mean? But it was quality from Taylor. Taylor done some really nice little subtle things. Like I realized he'll be up close and then he'll switch into the orthodox stance, and then all of a sudden the left hand's coming from a different direction, which O'Hara's not ready for. O'Hara showed that he was like O'Hara Davies cannot fight on the inside. One of the most important things when you're fighting on the inside is you have to bend your knees. You have to like Angel Garcia was telling Danny like against Herrera, bend your knees, man. You gotta bend them knees, man. He weren't bending knees. You're standing straight up. His stance was too wide as well. When you're on the inside, you can't. Your stance has to close up a little bit. You have to bring your legs in a bit more because when your stance is wide, you can't shorten up your punches properly. You know, you can throw punches straight when you're in a wide stance, but you can't really throw short, compact little hooks when you're in such a wide stance. And O'Hara was just exposed, and then in round 7, he fucking swallowed it, mate. He fucking quit. He bottled it. He didn't want no more work. That right hook, that little short right hook. I don't even think the right hook was that much of a huge shot. Like
it was just right on the face, though, man.
It clipped him, but he didn't see it coming. But he never the punch clipped him, but it didn't go through his face. Like you know them shots where you see a man like would throw a punch and it literally goes through his face and comes out the other side. Like that's not what happened. It was like it clipped him, and O'Hara did not see that coming at all, and it just knocked him over. And then when he got up, he swallowed it, mate. I mean, you can't. The way he quit was fucking disgraceful as well. How you just turn and just say? He even made a hand gesture to say no more. Like you can't do that.
In the replay, once he does that, do you see how much Taylor loads up on that left hand? He puts everything into that. He's like, motherfucker.
I love that, man. And then when it got stopped, Taylor was giving him some more abuse.
Yeah, in the corner.
Yeah.
I actually want to get to that as well afterwards. But Kimo, was there anything of Taylor that you'd like to see him improve? Any negatives?
Yeah, let's be critical for a moment because I'm going to turn into a fanboy in a minute. But I definitely, like I said, jab wise, I think he's actually got a good jab. I just want him to use it more often. But that's one thing. The other thing is, and then that's something that I heard Shane respond to in a couple of times that they show some corner footage, and I'll talk about Shane a little bit as well, because a lot of people shit on this guy, but I actually thought he was really good in this fight, from what I heard, is that he was kind of just inviting O'Hara in, like I said, and that was not necessary. If you know that a guy has power, don't start doing some weird shit, putting your hands up. He was doing a little back and forth Tyson Fury clap a couple of times as well. Like you don't need to do that, man, and you certainly don't need to go on the ropes unless you're tired. And I never really saw, with him that he was visibly tired. With Canelo, with a guy like Canelo, you can actually see that he's starting to breathe heavy, and then he goes to the ropes for a round and just takes a little break. I never really got that sense from Taylor. He always had a good pep in his step. And one little element that he showed as well in the fight, and he only did it a few times, to be honest, because most of the success was just on the inside with him planting his feet and using his upper body as movement. But when he decides to actually use his legs and pop in and out, kind of like the way Pacquiao always had a lot of success with, he's got a good set of legs under him, man. I mean, we talked about this. When he does a little jump in and out, like and kind of dazzles his opponent with movement and gives him different angles, he can do that shit. He's very athletic, man. I mean, I love this guy. I have a feeling that he's got a very diverse game. He can box on the outside. He can box on the inside. got solid defense, good offense, good power as well. Not life-changing power, but he's got good power. And he's just so goddamn fast. And he proved, I think, I mean, he got hit a couple of times, and he proved so far to have a good chin as well. So I think a lot of it is maybe mentally, Cam. He's definitely a guy that's a little bit of a hothead, and he fights with a lot of passion. And that's what I love about him. But I just hope that doesn't get the better of him in the future, you know, because you don't want to end up, you know, fighting only with your cojones in the ring and then getting clipped by something because you were showing off a little bit too much. But yeah, that was only a couple of moments in the fight. I mean, like you guys just said, even when O'Hara was saying no mas, I mean, he was all fucking business, man. He went right for the kill, and I fucking love that. There's no need, by the way, to apologize for any of this shit. Just knock your guy the fuck out and celebrate. There's no need to be, you need to be sportsman or whatever. No, man, it was a grudge match, and I love the fact that he was swearing afterwards while guys were like hoisting him already in the air. He was still looking at O'Hara, you know. He was not celebrating as one guy was lifting him up and was probably saying like, "Fuck you, dude." It was awesome, man.
Even
so
today,
much passion.
He's continued it on Twitter, like people were messaging him and stuff, and he's putting little memes out of him carrying a little baby with O'Hara's face on it. And someone said to him, like, there's such a thing as, you know, sore losers, but there's also such a thing as, you know, sore winners. And he's like, yo, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, that's part of the game, right? I like selling a fight, and to be honest with me, I don't care if you do it just before the fight or after the fight. Even by doing that, he's kind of selling his next fight as well. You know, he's just showing that he's a very intense guy that has a lot of passion and aggression, and to me, that's only good, man. That makes me want to watch him more and more and more. So,
well, you say
I really have no issues with that whatsoever.
You say selling his next fight, you know, just after he's finished abusing O'Hara for quitting, he goes over to Ricky, who was doing commentary for Channel 5, and he's like, you and me next. So, I know you love that type of shit.
Yeah, I do actually love that, but in this case, I felt a little bit awkward about it, especially when I watched the broadcast, because, I mean, Ricky just lost as well, you know. I mean, I'm not high on this fight. I understand that it can be a big selling fight in Scotland, and if it does happen, we're probably going to be there, Cam. But it's a guy that's kind of over the hill, and he just came off a loss, you know. So I don't really, I wasn't feeling that, to be honest. I thought it was a little bit meh. And Ricky is such a nice guy as well. There's no real point of calling him out. Yeah. I understand why he did it, but it doesn't really generate excitement for me, because Ricky is just smiling and just standing there like, yeah, good performance, man. Like, he's just too nice. I mean, I hold no ill will ever towards that guy.
Yeah.
But make no mistake about it. Sorry, Cam. Make no mistake about it. He's there for the taking. If these guys fight, then honestly, I don't see this going more than 3 rounds. I think Taylor is massive. 3
rounds? Wow.
I think he will knock him the fuck out, Cam. Honestly, if he decides to go for the kill, because he has no respect for Ricky Burns' power. I can already tell you that, and he's gonna come forward and just go for it, man. Ricky is over the hill, man. He's been in so many goddamn fights. He's looked terrible. He arguably lost his last 2 fights against Relic. He probably lost that one as well. I think he would eat him up. I think Taylor's so talented. I think he's so fucking talented. And if he goes to the body, because Ricky's got a good chin, if he starts blasting him to the body, I don't think it will go far. If he's really aggressive.
He's ready to be whooped, man.
Yeah, I think so, man.
Kimo, a few more points. You mentioned that you were impressed with Shane on the night. What about Sims? I thought Sims was quite poor. He's quite like one-dimensional anyway. Like, when you hear him speak, he sounds like a manic depressive, and like he's like, you put your hands up and just throw some hooks to the body. Like, he wasn't really giving O'Hara any great advice, and I don't really rate him as a trainer. It just seems like every time Hearn picks up some Olympian at that point from like 2012, they were just like sending them over to Sims, and you know, it seems like I'm not saying O'Hara was an Olympian, but it seems like he gets a rapport with a few guys, and They joined the stable, but I don't really rate him as a trainer.
Yeah, you've been very critical of him for a long time. I remember that. I don't know him that well, to be honest. I don't really know what he specializes in or what his trademark is, or
bumminess.
Yeah, well, I do agree with you that even in interviews he comes across as a very depressed-looking guy. I mean, he really doesn't have a lot of passion or a lot of charisma. One thing I do know is that he added nothing to Burns' game as Burns moved there. He should have just stayed in Scotland, to be honest. He hasn't really improved in anything. In terms of O'Hara, yeah, he was saying some wild shit like he's got Tommy Hearns' power or something like that. What was he saying? Was it Hearns or Nigel Benn type power? Something like that, he said, and yeah, that was a bit over the top as well. But yeah, man, about Shane. So they barely showed Tony Sims' corner advice in the broadcast. I didn't really see much, but I did hear a couple of things from Shane. I mean, he was telling him to stay calm in the beginning, you know, and I think they were very much capitalizing on the fact that O'Hara is so unorthodox and such a clumsy fighter in a way. He's saying, mate, just stay calm, you know, just do your thing. He's going to make mistakes, and as soon as he does, we're going to capitalize on that. You know, we're not going to press the action too much. That was kind of the advice he was giving in the beginning of the rounds, and that was actually, you know, a solid strategy as well. He checked him straight away after the fourth round when he was doing that hands behind the back shit, and he's saying, man, stop, don't get brave in there, man. I don't want to see any of that shit. You catch and you throw in singles, and I thought that was pretty good advice, actually, because Taylor was having success. You know, just slipping and ripping with one shot and then getting out of there again. And at that point in the fight, we were still like in the middle rounds, and there's no need to, you know, get overly brave with 4 or 5 punch combinations. So I really liked what I saw from Shea, man. I know everybody shits a lot of him, a lot on this guy because he's so young and he's got quite a big stable, and, you know, nobody really knows what he adds to people's games. But I liked what I saw that night.
Just going back to Ricky. A couple months ago, before the Taylor O'Hara fight was announced, I saw an interview in Boxing Scene saying, Josh Taylor should fight O'Hara Davies first, and if he gets through that, then maybe him and me can fight. And at ringside and also afterwards in interviews, Josh Taylor was saying, you know, Alex Arthur gave him the opportunity, you know, the passing of the torch opportunity, and I think he should do that for me. You know, we should have that fight. It's a big fight in Scotland. Which I agree with. I just felt on the broadcast after the fight at ringside, it just felt like a whole team of Cyclone and just Ricky there on his own. And I know, you know, when that's the case, when they start complimenting the person afterwards, because you can tell they think, oh shit, it looks like we're ganging up on him, so let's give him some compliments to, you know, to kind of balance it out. Then they're like, oh, Ricky, like 3-0. You heard Barry McGuigan and it started waxing lyrical, and I just felt a bit bad for Ricky, man.
Yeah, and he's just not the type of guy to put in that situation, you know. If that was O'Hara in there, then you have a situation where he's, you know, he'll start firing back, and, you know, you got him against the gang basically, and it creates a cool, you know, a cool type of vibe that's already a little bit hostile, and it builds up to the fight. But Ricky is just standing there with his mic trying to help out with the broadcast, and yeah, it just doesn't work, man. He's just too nice of a guy. And like you say, yeah, Barry and Shane. I mean, even Shane was getting involved. Like, oh, we want to fight Burns. I'm like, guys, chill the fuck out, you know. But I think maybe what he's trying to do is just, you know, get the entire fan base of Scotland behind him, and then blow up as a massive star and start filling out some stadiums, right? Because you got the whole Edinburgh versus Glasgow situation if that fight happens. And then if he beats the crap out of Ricky, he's basically got a united country supporting him.
Yeah. So
I think they probably view that as, well, actually that's what they said, right? I basically want your name. Yeah. It happened with Alex Arthur, and I want to do it with you. I basically want to take your name and your fan base and and send you into retirement. I mean, that's what it translates to, right? So
yeah,
I get it, but it didn't really quite work out well on the broadcast.
It was a bit cringy. But I'll get to this in a minute. Naota, Hamada, have you guys got anything else to add about the fight?
Nah, I mean, I pretty much said my piece with regard to that.
Amada?
Yeah.
Are you going to admit that you were actually Team O'Hara now and you just switched camps all of a sudden to Team Taylor?
Nah. I just enjoy
Come on.
I enjoy O'Hara's trolling, but fuck him, man. He's a cunt, man. And Eddie Hearn's a cunt as well. So, yo, Eddie Hearn was. You know when Josh knocked him down in the 7th round? The first thing I did after that, I looked into the front row. Like I'm trying to see Eddie Hearn. He got up, sat back down. He knew it was over the fucking cunt. I mean, where's all his boys? Them cunts. Them Essex boys. I didn't even know who they were. People were telling me about them. They're putting out tweets like O'Hara's gonna go to Glasgow and knock out some mug and bum, and I mean, fuck's sake, man, these idiots, fucking idiots. But yeah, like I heard Kimo talking about Shane's advice in the corner. I liked it as well. It was Shane was trying to be a calming influence, trying to keep him calm, and yeah, I like that. I mean, Tony Sims. I mean, we gotta start talking about Tony Sims because what has Tony Sims ever done? Like, fuck all. He gets fed fighters through Matchroom because it's like Matchroom had this thing where it's like they only trust certain trainers, and it seems like when, say, for example, someone turns pro, like if they're from up north, they go to Gallagher, or as we've seen with Fowler, they'll go to fucking Caldwell. And in London, if you're based like in the south and that, Hearn and that, they flush you all down to Sims. And I don't know, I think Sims is a garbage trainer. I mean, he's done fuck all. All these guys fucking lose, man. Like, it's worse than Joe Gallagher. It's worse than Joe Gallagher's record.
The thing is, not even his record. At least Joe Gallagher got passion, and he defends his boxers to the hilt, and like.
No, but I like that though. I like that about Sims. Sims is not chasing the spotlight, so I give him credit for that. But he's just shit. Like, he doesn't do anything.
Yeah, that's fair. But I just
he had AJ though, right?
Yeah, but he wasn't really
they
training.
Didn't trust him with AJ. They just fucking sent him to McCracken
in Sheffield. Yeah, he did most of the training in Sheffield.
They didn't trust him with AJ.
Sims was just basically the glorified padman and just in the ring while they were waiting for this, McCracken to get a pass in his contract so he could officially train AJ like he did with Froch. So really, he was just the puppet.
He's an idiot as well, Sims. He was talking some shit before the fight as well, with his little Cockney accent. He was just like, Awara Davies, I mean, he's the best fighter at 140. I mean, I don't think anyone can beat him, man. Taylor's
Davies.
Awara. He calls him Awara.
All right, Kimo, I obviously asked you this in the arena, and we had a conversation later on in the night. So, just for the people listening, what's really next, do you think, for Taylor? If the Burns fight doesn't happen, I said, August we have Crawford versus Ndongo. It seems like if he becomes undisputed, he'll most likely go up to 147. So belts will become available. Do you think he'll try and chase a belt? Because again, you mentioned that he looked drawn at the weigh-in. You showed me a picture, and he did look like The Walking Dead. And I'm amazed that he makes that weight. And again, when I was going through his Twitter feed today, his tweets and replies, someone asked him about the weight, and he says, "No, I make it perfectly fine. I plan to be here for a good couple of years," which I found quite surprising. So what's your view?
Well, I mean, this is what I saw, right? But what you see is not always the reality of actually how the body is feeling with him. So he could just be a guy that looks like shit at the weigh-in, It's just what it is. Sometimes the face just looks like crap, and physically they're actually fine and they're rehydrated and they're good. Obviously he's a big guy, but if he's very disciplined, with his strength and conditioning and his nutrition, he could easily do this for quite a few fights to come. What's going to happen? Well, I think they pretty much made it clear. I mean, Shane already said in the interview afterwards that they're going Euro/world title level very, very soon. I don't think they're going to waste their time with him, at the kind of British/Commonwealth level. So maybe one more fight while Ricky has another fight, and then they're going to try to make that. I have my doubts, by the way, if that's going to happen. I really don't know, because he is, with Eddie, and I don't know if Eddie is going to send another sacrificial lamb to Barry McGuigan. Which brings me to another point, that even though I kind of like Barry, I do think he's a bit of a fucking psycho, man, and his hostility is not really helping the situation. Like, if you're not against me, you are my enemy. Like, that is some Game of Thrones shit, Like, you don't need to do that, man. Like, that's going to create another top-ranked Golden Boy situation, like we had a few years back.
The tweet that I sent you.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the tweets, but I think he also sent another one where he basically just repeated what I just said. Like, if you're not with me, then you're against me. Like, that's a very fucking. The one you said was about icing Matchroom fighters or something like that, right?
That's a parody account.
Wait, was that a real Barry McGuigan?
No, is it parody?
No. He did say something like that, man.
The handle is Barry McGuigan Show.
Oh my god, are you serious?
Oh, Kimo, man, you're getting trolled these days, man. You're not on point.
No, hang on. I did read something like that. I am getting fucking trolled.
It's the handle is McGuigan Show.
You got trolled by a O'Hara account as well, because some parody O'Hara account retweeted one of yours and left a comment, and initially you thought it was O'Hara. But
wow,
man, you gotta check the handles, man.
No, I swear, I thought I saw the blue tick. Maybe it was a picture or something in the background. God damn it, man. That's fucking crazy. But he okay, but still, I mean, I think the point still holds, kind of, because you know from the Frampton Quigg situation that these guys do not fucking play well together. And he also took a shot on air, actually, at Matchroom, because he was saying afterwards, like, with all due respect to Sky and Matchroom, but we all know what's going to happen with most of their fights. They're not 50-50
yeah,
fights.
I forgot to mention that. I was quite shocked that he said that.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. So, I mean, okay, fair enough about the parody account, but McGuigan is still like this. He is waging a fucking war with Hearn, and these two do not like each other. So, I don't know, man.
But
he does not give a fuck.
But Kimo, I think comments like that just will push Hearn not to kind of send people his way.
Oh, hell no, man. He's not going to fucking send Burns over there.
Nope, yeah.
I don't think so.
Burns needs the money, man. Burns is fucking bankrupt.
No, but he's more likely to make the Corolla fight, even though it's a shit fight.
Yeah.
Nah, but the
Keep
Corolla
it in-house.
fight, Joe done the, I can't remember, I saw an interview with Joe, and Joe was saying how Corolla's going to come back for a tune-up, because he's had 5 or 6 hard fights in a row. So that fight is not going to happen next.
Somebody just tweeted me fucking the tweet. Yeah, it's Barry McGuigan, MBE McGuigan Show. If you're not with me, then you're against me.
You got trolled, son.
Oh, that is classy.
But
I fucking love Twitter.
Just one last point. Channel 5 usually do issue their numbers. I'm not seeing anything yet, but do all three of you think this would have done good on just terrestrial Channel 5 TV? So in the UK, if you're not from here, that's just free TV. If you pay your TV license, of course. I'm hoping it's done good. Even though the names are not well known, Taylor has been on Channel 5 before, so, and all the kind of banter and hostility that O'Hara added, I think Channel 5 usually do pretty good with the numbers.
I don't think so, because Eddie refused to sell the fight.
I thought that was a bit of a cunt move, that, to be honest. Yeah, it's not on your...
He's all about himself, isn't he?
The thing is, though...
Matchroom, that's what he cares about.
The thing is, that to me, that showed that he wasn't really banking on O'Hara, because if O'Hara goes on Channel 5, puts on a real good performance, win or lose, going back on Sky, it's better for Eddie, because he's basically made a bigger name for himself, but... He even put a tweet out, I think someone said, like, you're not being really advertising the show. He goes, oh, it's not my responsibility to promote it, or some shit like that. Well, I thought, well, your fight is your fighter. Like, at least promote it a bit, because it's better for you in the end game.
Promote your fighter?
Yeah.
Exactly. O'Hara's your fighter, bro. How about I tell you, I went on Sky Sports website and all that, their Twitter and all that. Not one mention about this fight. They have not said O'Hara loses to Josh. They haven't mentioned anything about this fight.
Sky.
So you know what's going to happen. When O'Hara comes back to Sky, they're not even going to mention the fact that he lost his last fight. They're going to act like it didn't even happen. They're going to try to sweep it under the rug. Fucking cunts. That's the type of shit they do, man. It's ridiculous. Because if O'Hara won that fight, say for example O'Hara won, Eddie Hearn would have been like, did you all see O'Hara win on Channel 5 in front of great audience? And you know how he is, the fucking smug cunt.
I think he was trying to maybe send in like a Trojan horse into the Cyclone promotions. You know what I mean? He was just sending a fighter over there to see if he could beat one of his hot fucking to be stars and just have the shit blow up in their faces, you know. And if he was successful, then obviously it would have been a big blow to McGuigan.
I want to say one more thing about it. You see, I remember, you know when they were negotiating Quigg and Frampton, I remember Hearn when he put out that offer, like with the check on Sky Sports News and all that. He was like, okay, if you're going to turn down our offers, give us a counter offer, and then we'll take the fight. Yeah? That's what you're saying, yeah? Okay, they did that this time. So you offered them, they rejected, they offered you, you accepted. You know what Hearn's been doing lately? He's been crying. He's been saying things like, they wouldn't have fought us on Sky. What the fuck? They offered you money to come fight them on Channel 5. What are you talking about? Like, how can you blame them for making the fight? He's blaming them, saying, oh, we had to go over there and fight them. When you've clearly said before, if you're not going to take our offer, give us a counter offer. Like, this guy's a dickhead. Like, he's just, you know what this guy does, yeah? He's always trying to manipulate the public. He's always trying to, like, spin things and flip the script and make it seem like, now all of a sudden we're innocent and we had to go over to Scotland and we had to fight on the rival promoter's show and on all this. No, fuck off. If you didn't want to take the fight and didn't want to do them things, you could have rejected that and then offered them more money. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and then people's coming back and saying, well, they've got all the advantages. They're at home and all. Yeah, well, that's what you pay for. You pay for the fucking luxuries of them kind of things. How many times has Hearn had the ball in his court where he's bringing people over to his platform? Fucking take on the chin. It fucking happens. Things work both ways. Fuck. It's annoying, man.
Well, it often doesn't happen because he doesn't pay for it, right? He's had a lot of guys that he wanted to have over in home advantage at a world level, and it never happens because he's not willing to pay them enough.
Yeah, fucking tight cunt. And then, look, even this week coming up, yeah, he lost the purse bid for one of his fighters now, and he's going to be fighting on the fucking Eubank pay-per-view. But we'll probably get to that later on. But yeah, man, Hearn's a fucking tight cunt, man. If he don't care about you, if you're not AJ or you're not one of his big stars, then he's fucking sending you over, mate.
Cannon fodder. Just lastly, Neil, for you, just for, say Crawford does move up. Taylor did pick up Ahara Davis's WBC trinket, his silver belt. Looking at WBC, if these rankings are up to date, you got Amir Imam up there, Regis Prograis, Victor Postel still up there, Anthony Orozco, Braun is around there. What fight would you like to see Taylor in next if it is someone highly ranked in WBC? Maybe for a vacant or a final eliminator or something?
I mean, there's some pretty good names in there. I see Granados in there as well. Maybe Postal. I mean, the guy that's kind of been at the top level just recently failed, but isn't necessarily like a big puncher in his own right. I mean, yeah, he's a fairly difficult fighter. A lot of volume and such, but I think a guy that Taylor can actually beat. A couple of the other guys I think might be a little bit too dangerous for the reward that they would actually give him. Like I think the risk versus reward ratio is all out of whack if you're trying to fight like a Granados or like a Regis Prograis. Maybe Soto too. I see Humberto Soto's rated up fairly highly up there. Orozco I don't think is too bad either actually. He might be a pretty good fight. Orozco's a pretty well-rounded guy, but doesn't necessarily do any one thing special. So he's another guy that I think could give Taylor a really good fight, a challenging fight. But one that I think is still winnable for him.
As far as I know, I might be wrong, but the last time he fought, I think he may have gone up to 47, because I think he fainted in the previous fight before the weigh-in or something. So
yeah, you know what? I think his most recent fight was like a catch weight at like 144 or some crazy shit. So yeah. I mean, he might even catch him drained if Orozco's still trying to make 140 anyway. They still have him ranked there though, so that's the only reason why I brought him up. But you might be right. He might be at welterweight now from now on. I know he's ranked or Davies was ranked really highly in the IBF too. So I imagine that he might kind of take his place in those rankings as well. And there, I think that some of the guys there actually might even be even better for him. The guys that are more like on the fringe contender level, I think, as opposed to some of the guys in the WBC, I think are a lot more challenging. The guys like Troyanovsky, Okada, Maurice Hooker. We saw how terrible Hooker was, and Obata and stuff. Guy Lenny Zappavini. Those guys I think are just a clear level below the WBC rated guys. So I wouldn't be surprised if they actually even went that route, or even at the very least fought one of those guys in order to stay busy and keep that high ranking, and then see where the cards fall with regard to Crawford and Dongo and the aftermath and all that.
I love the IBF rankings because you look at WBC and you think, I know these names. Ami Imam, Pro Gray, Soto, Felix Diaz. Then you look at IBF and you got names like Akira Kondo, who you probably know, Naota, but I've never heard of him.
Who the fuck is that?
Anthony Yigit, that Lenny guy that you mentioned. IBF are just scrape the barrel sometimes, I think, man.
Hipster rankings.
But have you guys got anything else regarding this fight?
Yeah, man. Let me talk a little bit about the atmosphere and all that. Man, this is my first time visiting Scotland, and the people are fucking awesome, first of all. Shout out to everybody that we met. I mean, we hung out a little bit with Brian King as well. That was cool. And a few guys from Twitter as well, Ash. I mean, it was just awesome, man. Everybody was really friendly. The crowd was fucking crazy, Cam. I've never ever experienced anything like that.
You definitely want to come back to the UK, don't you?
Oh man, I didn't want to leave, man. I'm fucking depressed being here. I want to go back, man. It was so much fun. Not just the fight, but just overall, the city itself was beautiful. People were nice. But yeah, the crowd, it wasn't the biggest crowd in the world, obviously. The Brayhead was by nowhere near sold out, but it was so freaking loud, man. When O'Hara came out, as soon as they were already booing beforehand because he was standing on the ramp trying to rile people up and shit, and then all of a sudden you hear that bell go from the Undertaker theme and shit just completely kicked off. It was awesome. And when Taylor stopped him, I mean, it was just madness, man. Everybody was just jumping around, going crazy, and I think I saw Brian King describe it well. It turned into Leeds there for a moment, it just turned into a fucking riot. It was awesome, man. Absolutely amazing. I mean, I will never forget this, man. It was one of the greatest fucking nights ever, and yeah, I'm still buzzing thinking about it, man. So. I can't wait. I want to go back to another fight in the UK, or preferably maybe Burns Taylor. I would probably come down for that, especially if they put that in a fucking football stadium.
Yeah, I want to echo most of your sentiments. The people were great, so friendly and talkative. Great to meet Brian King, man. He was a baller. He was at ringside. And
he had credentials.
Yeah, he had credentials. He was looking in shape as well, man.
VIP, man. Brian King's VIP, man.
He was looking in shape, man. He's getting down to fighting weight. I think he'll be on the circuit soon. I think beating up some matchroom bums. I think, but also the day before chemo, we met. Was it Jay and Glenn and their partners in that bar, and they were just great talking to them about boxing, and they were just telling us about Scottish culture and telling us certain phrases and all that shit. I mean, just everyone we met was so friendly.
Yeah, the Scottish people are very accessible, man. They will just people will randomly come and talk to you in the street, especially if you look a little bit different, like Daniel Lim. Like everybody will just approach you, and they're like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing here? Let's have a chat." So it's yeah, man. They're very open, warm people, and pretty batshit crazy at the same time as well, which I really can appreciate. And the vibe in the arena was actually, even though it was really crazy, it was not hostile. Well, maybe towards O'Hara, but I never saw a scuffle or anything like that. Everybody was just having fun, and yeah, it was cool, man. We were actually sitting next to Easton's family as well. Like they were sitting like right next to us, and especially the women, man, they were screaming their lungs out. I've never heard female voices like that. It's just, I mean, they were going absolutely mental during the fight. It was quite something to behold.
They were
so,
like, "Come on, Jason!"
A lot of passion, man, from these Scottish fans.
They were like, "Come on, Jason! Do him, Jason! Not him!" So what the fuck?
Yeah, you can hear it on the broadcast because there were not that many people yet in the arena. If you actually watch it,
I could hear his the woman that Lim was talking to, and you could hear her on the broadcast. It was crazy.
Yeah, exactly, man.
Yeah, lads, how was the Boxing Coalition appreciation night at Nando's? How did that go?
It was great, man. Femi turned up, gave a speech, man. It was really endearing. We got Lim Lucasade.
I saw the video.
We got him Lucasade. We got him Iron Brew. He didn't like Iron Brew, to be honest. Sorry, Scott and Lim, but he wasn't really.
Iron Brew's fucking shit, man.
He wasn't feeling Iron Brew. He loved Nando's. He says it's a lot like Peruvian chicken, so I guess the flavors and that are very similar. But he enjoyed it.
What did you get him?
You got half a chicken.
Oh, you got
half a chicken.
Half a chicken, hot flavor, and piri fries and spicy rice, man. It's the only way to go.
You didn't get no creamy mash?
You got the mash as well, the fat bastard.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
But he couldn't finish it and took the rest home. But, yeah, man, it was a good night. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was excellent, man. We went to this traditional Scottish restaurant as well, and it was pretty awesome, man. And Lim fell in love with one of the waitresses as well, which was almost a beautiful romance story, but didn't quite unfold.
The funny bit is we still don't know whether she was from Romania or Rome, because when we asked her, like, we only picked up on the R, so we don't know if it was Rome or Romania. I'm thinking Romania, but I don't know.
Oh, well, you don't say Nim didn't even nick the bird.
Nah, man, he got a haircut but didn't nick the bird.
Yeah.
Oh, that's awful, man.
Oh,
I'm disappointed in him. I'm gonna give him the business for that. Like catching.
Kimo, before we move on, should we just quickly go through the other two fights that we saw live? Jason Easton, you mentioned him, and Steve Jamoy, brother of Stephen Jamoy. Fun fight for an undercard fight.
Yeah, excellent little fight, man. Classic styles matchup of a smaller come-forward brawler against, a more lanky guy who should be, using his jab and keeping a distance, but he didn't quite do that. I thought honestly that the little Belgian bastard was tough as nails, and he was just coming forward, landing a lot of shots, and it was a damn tough fight for Easton, man. Easton was struggling, I think. What was that?
Sorry to interrupt you. You know what was really funny? Like, obviously we had Easton's family in front of us, and they were like buzzing and like shouting things towards the ring, and in the first two rounds, like, you and me would whisper to each other, like, "Bro, I think Jamoy got that round," just in case, like, his family would hear us.
Yeah, man. His sister would have fucking hit us, man. She was wasted as well, but like, he was, man. He was actually struggling a lot in the fight, and at the end, we were saying to each other, like, man, if he doesn't hurt this guy at some point, it's gonna get real tough, being dragged down the stretch. And then he finally did hurt him, but that was nowhere near a stoppage, man. That was a terrible fucking stoppage. I don't want to use the word corrupt, but that was borderline corrupt for me, man. It was very bad. I mean, the dude was basically just hit with one punch. I mean, he got hit a couple of times before that, but it was basically just one punch, and then the referee jumps in, and he had his hands up.
Have you watched it back?
It was very strange.
Have you watched it back?
I watched it back, and I still thought it was a shit stoppage.
I don't know. There were like that round and the round before. There were there were occasions where he was shipping a lot of shots. He would throw back, but he missed, and he was just taking a lot of headshots. And I think that accumulation just got into the ref's mind. I thought, you know what, he's taking too many clean shots to the head, so maybe I'll stop it. It was right on the bell, which made it kind of bad, because you think, well, he's 1 second away from surviving the round, and you've jumped in and stopped it. But I don't know. I don't think he was winning. Like, early on, he took some rounds, but Easton kind of took over, man. And Jamoy, I was impressed early on, like, you know how he was just countering combinations, but with like 2-3 shots. But as the fight went on, he started to slow. He was only countering with maybe one shot, and they weren't on target. And you mentioned it straight away in the first 2 rounds. You know, Easton's left hand was too low, and he was just getting clipped too easily with right hands. And I thought he developed as the fight went on. His guard got better, his movement got better, and he started throwing in combinations, and he started causing Jamoy issues. And Jamoy just looked like a little, like he said at the fight, a little Kiko. He just come forward, throwing lots of shots, just lots of pressure. And we discussed it at the time that, you know, I think going on, Easton probably would have lost it, because when you look at his record, he hadn't been past 6. I think he basically went from 6 to 12. And this guy, you could see he was a bit of a vet, and I thought they've
22 fights, right?
Yeah, they've thrown him in here a bit too soon. And I thought this fight is going to help him in the future, because he knows, look, when I'm in a bit of adversity, I can actually come through it, and I can adjust, and I can do better. And as a learning fight, overall, even though I thought maybe he's going to take the L here, he's been thrown in the deep end. I think it's going to just help him in future, because he adjusted, and he started to really hurt him. And maybe if Jamoy had a bit more power, he could have done something. It's just that he lacked the power. I think he only had like 3 or 4 knockouts, and it was a shame, but it was a really fun fight to watch at ringside, and the crowd were really behind it as well, because Easton's from Edinburgh, Taylor's from Edinburgh, so they probably shared a lot of the same fans, and yeah, man, it was a fan favourite in the building.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, the right hand over the top was not missing for the old Belgian, so it really is a shame he didn't have more power. He had 4 knockouts on his like 22, 23 fight record, so. Yeah, it was a good developmental fight, but quite a dangerous one at the same time. And I really thought at a few points that Easton was actually the one gassing out. And yeah, I think he got lucky there that the little one slowed down, man, because he would have been in deep shit, man. If that was a Kiko type of engine, I think I think that would have been a late stoppage, maybe. He took a lot of shots, man. He really did. He can't keep doing that in future fights. But yeah, nevertheless, very entertaining, man. Shall we talk about Lim's girl quickly as well?
Yeah, Chantel Cameron. What did you call it, Kimo? A mini Golovkin?
Man, I was on some kind of shit that night. But yeah, I did really like her footwork, man. She really does stalk her opponents a little bit like Triple G. And she's got a good little right hand, so definitely enjoyed watching her. And of course, you know, Lim as well was just yelling all the time in his American accent, "Chantel, please marry me!" Like he was totally into her. So that was, you know, they got quite a few reactions as well. That was quite fun.
It was. No, she is decent. I would pick her above Natasha Jonas. I think she's a lot better. Jonas is very basic to me. But when it comes to our girl Katie, I don't know, Katie probably destroy Chantel. She's good. I think she could have stepped across a bit more. She kept throwing that right hand, and her opponent kept just spinning, backpedaling, going towards her left, and I just a bit more variety. She was a bit too often 1-2 hook, 1-2 hook, and maybe just switch it up a bit, you know, throw right hand, left hook, or just a bit more variety. But overall, yeah, second fight, she had a big background in kickboxing, so she's definitely been in the fight game a long time. But yeah, man, let's see her ride and see how it goes, man. Lim's in love, but Lim falls in and out of love very often. So
he's a very emotional guy. That's one thing I discovered once again in Glasgow, man. He seems to fall in love a lot.
Yeah.
So
we
need to keep him in check a little bit.
We do indeed. That's about it for that card, Chemo. Anything else you just want to mention? Or should we move on?
I think that's about it, man. Just a glorious fucking weekend. Still buzzing about it. So happy I decided to go to it. And all the fucking haters that were wondering why I was fly all the way to Glasgow for this shit, well, there you go. It was an absolutely amazing evening.
It was indeed. All right, at the same time... Say that again, sir?
Must have been priceless to watch O'Hara quit.
Yeah, in the flesh. Oof, amazing.
Actually, now that you mention it, I do quickly want to say something, Cam, about O'Hara. Obviously, yeah, he did 100% quit, and people are right to just go crazy on him. I mean, I'm seeing priceless tweets and memes flying around, but there's one particular party of people that I can't fucking stand in this, and that's the people that get all high and mighty about him opening his mouth and that he shouldn't be talking and this and that. Like, I mean, I really don't know what they want. The fact that they're getting angry shows you, that he had just overall success in winding people up and causing some emotional investment in the fight. For me, boxing is all about emotional investment. Like, that's the reason I went fucking crazy in the fight, because there was so much built up tension that it also, completely changed the way I actually viewed the fight as it was going on. So that's only good for boxing, man. And yes, O'Hara did not do himself, justice by quitting. And then even afterwards, he's saying like, yeah, like I gave him my best and this and that, and I didn't quit. Yeah, you did, man. Sorry. You really did. And on the one hand, I kind of respect the fact that he's not going quiet and he still came to the press conference and all of that. But on the other hand, what he's saying is not really helping his situation. I still kind of like his personality. I really don't mind it. I think we should have more people like that in boxing. So I don't have an issue with that. So if you want everybody to be like Ricky Burns, fine, if that's your preference. But it's going to create a fucking boring boxing scene, So
I disagree, mate.
Why?
I totally disagree. You can't behave like that and then quit. I'm sorry, you can't.
No, but I agree with that. I agree with that. But there's people that say like, oh, he shouldn't have talked in the first place. Well, he should have. That's what made the fight exciting. That doesn't change. You know what I mean?
Well, if you had quitting you, then you don't talk, man. I mean, listen, man. As much as we all give Broner shit, Broner could have done the same thing against Maidana. He could have copped out. He could have quit, but he stayed in there, took his licks like a man, and I respect that. O'Hara literally quit. The first signs of adversity ever in his career. He just folded. He quit. Come on, man, Kimo, man. I'm sorry. Listen,
no, but I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I completely agree.
My problem as well is he wants to play this bad guy. Yeah, you're saying all this bad guy stuff, but then immediately after the fight, he wants to be pally and he wants to be friends with, and like, do you know what I mean? Like, after the Derry Matthews fight, he done the same thing. Try hugging him after the fight, saying, "Oh, this is entertainment. I need to sell the fight." Blah, blah. Like, how can you expect people to get emotionally invested when you're clearly just telling lies and stuff? You don't even mean what you're saying. You're coming out saying this is entertainment. I'm just doing it for the sake of it, just to sell the fight.
But this is boxing, Hamada. There's a lot of people that do stuff. That's just kind of in the moment and just trying to build up the fight a little bit. I mean, we've had that a lot. Do you honestly believe that all the grudge matches that we've seen in boxing have all been real? No, not really. But
don't come out and say afterwards, I was just selling the fight. Especially when you lost. Especially like now he's lost. He's coming out and saying, listen, I had to do what I had to do. You know what I mean? It's entertainment. Nah, man, fuck that shit, man. You can't.
No, but in the context of the quit, I absolutely agree with you, because if you try and beef with a guy and you're saying like, I'm tougher, I'm stronger, I'm gonna beat your ass, I'm gonna knock you out in 6 rounds, and then quitting afterwards, you look like a bitch. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, that is absolutely 100% true. But it still doesn't change the fact that I'd rather have, regardless of the outcome, I'd rather have somebody who's outspoken than not, because I'm still more invested in the fight, and it was a great fight. Did he quit? Yeah, but the quitting probably added more drama to it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not condoning it, but I'm just saying, like, I'd rather have people that kind of understand the game, and there's a large WWE aspect to boxing. That is what always fucking sells, man. That's why Froch Groves was a stadium level fight, because it was a grudge match.
Listen,
with some controversy. That always helps.
With O'Hara, if he doesn't behave the way he behaves, if he doesn't dye his hair yellow, if he doesn't say all this mad shit he does on Twitter and all this sort of stuff, no one will give a fuck about him. So I understand
which proves his point. Which proves his point.
He's putting his name out there and he wants people talking and stuff like that. But he's coming out after the fight saying, this is all fake. That's not what I really am. I'm not really that person. And like, how can we get behind that? I'm sorry, like Josh Taylor, I respect Josh Taylor more. Like Josh Taylor giving him stick after the fight and sticking his tongue at him while he's down on the ground, and then after the fight he's saying, fuck him, I'm not having no respect for him. I don't care. Like, I like that because that's real. What O'Hara is doing is openly fake. It is fake. And I'm not down with fake shit. I'm sorry, I'm not down with that shit. His behavior's fake. And then he wants to come around afterwards and say, that's not what I'm really like. By the way, did you not see afterwards? I never watched it, but apparently he done a little Periscope video, and then he said that how he didn't quit and he had both his nose, like he had a blocked nose. That's why he stopped the fight. I mean, for fuck's sake, man. Blocked nose.
Yeah. Hamada, I completely agree with you. I mean, he, again, post-fight, he's not doing the right things. He's coming out with this almost attitude that we should be understanding of him and that he did the right thing, and he didn't. He really had, in boxing terms, minimal adversity, really minimal. I mean, we've seen way fucking worse, and he just basically threw in the towel for himself, and then to go on afterwards and say like, yeah, that he didn't quit. Well, you did, and to go on Periscope and explain what happened. It's like, yeah, I can't breathe out my nose, and I've got a gum shield in, so I can't fight. Like, okay, that is that is not really a reason to just fucking stop. Like we've had people with broken jaws that fought on.
And another thing that bothers me as well. He comes out after saying, "Well, I'm a kid from the streets, and I'm doing really good for myself." Mate, you're claiming you're from the streets. You're meant to be tougher than that. You can't be quitting. Yeah. If you're really from the streets and you've had it hard and you've been in tough situations in the street, boxing doesn't compare to them situations. So either you're lying, you're not really from the streets, or you just fucking just have quit in you. And all this money you're making and all this fucking Essex people that you're around have made you soft. It's either one or the other. So I can't respect that. This is just O'Hara is just exposing himself as a fucking fake guy. He's fake. Like that's where he's from. Hackney, Hackney is probably like up there in like one of the worst neighborhoods in like the whole of the UK. Like it is Hackney is really bad. Like I hear mad shit about things that happen in Hackney. Like people from Hackney can't accept him back after that. They have to tell him, yo, quit here. You can't come back around here. Stay with your Essex boys. Stay with the Matchroom Elite Gym and all them guys from them Essex reality shows and stay with them, man. You can't come back to the hood. No. After quitting that's disgraceful, man. Like, I'm sorry, man. Like OD keeps reverting back to I'm the street kid and all that. Well, you're meant to be tougher than that. Sorry.
Bro, do you think he'll get a part on The Only Way Is Exit?
That's what he's trying to do. I don't even know why he's around these guys. Like, what's he trying to do? I don't get it.
Guy the geezer in the chat says, I live in Hackney and Hamada ain't lying.
I just googled some images of Hackney. It looks fucking ghetto, man. Jesus.
I'm telling you.
All right, let's not defend everyone. Let's not offend everyone in Hackney, man. Come on.
No, shit out to Hackney, man. It's all good.
All right, are you done on your rant, Hamada?
Yeah, I'm done, man. I'm done.
Yeah, again, just for the record, I do agree with Hamada. post-fight, he's really not doing himself any favors, because the next time he's going to try and be the heel and the Undertaker, it's not really going to work, because you need to have a certain level of, badassery about yourself. And that only works if you've gone out on your shield, for example, and doesn't work when you're just like waving the fight off for yourself.
Well, what's interesting, 6 hours ago he put a tweet out. He quoted a tweet which is unavailable. The person must have removed it, so I don't know the point which he was responding to. But his tweet was to @Eddie Hearn, now that I have lost my belt to @Josh Taylor, maybe I go and take @Robbie Davis Jr.'s belt, ? So it's like, well, wait a while before you start acting again. You know what I mean? It's like 1 minute you're just saying like my nose is blocked, and then now you're calling out someone else after you just did a quit. You know what I mean? It's like, it's almost kind of pathetic in a way.
It doesn't look good, because it kind of just looks like he realized he came out of the fight and he's like, oh, that didn't go my way, and let's find something else to cash in basically on. And yeah, he says it a lot in the fight, in interviews as well, pre-fight. Like he talks a lot about money and how it's a business for him and it's not really a sport. And fair enough, he's not the only guy that says that, but he really seems to act like it. He really sees it as a kind of short-term, cash-in investment. And I don't know, a guy like that will probably not last very long in the sport either.
He's a fucking idiot. All he's been talking about is, yeah, well, I'm getting paid 6 figures. Like,
yeah,
fuck off. We don't want to hear that shit.
Yeah, you know what? You know what, Kimo? Let's hope he doesn't buy too many more expensive sunglasses, because by the time he's out the game,
this is how he talks. My sunglasses, he can't buy with first. Like, he actually sounds retarded. Like,
Carl Fram should keep his fucking mouth shut.
Yo, you might have to.
Find you're all on £7 an hour. Like, he sounds so retarded.
Well, you might have to sell. You might have to sell the Audi A5 and go back to doing fraud to get on the buses.
Yeah. I was looking at bus passes that was used,
expired,
and trying to show it to the bus driver, and he won't let me on. Like, we don't want to hear that shit. I'm sorry, man. Like,
no, I do want to hear that, man. That was funny.
No, man, I don't want to hear that shit, man.
I like O'Hara, man. That pre-fight shit was funny, dude. Post-fight, no, but pre-fight, he made that press conference, man. He was fucking hilarious, calling everybody bums. I mean, that had everybody going. You can't lie. We were laughing about that shit.
It's funny, but I just it's much funnier when you win and stuff. Like, when you
it is. It is
like that. It's quite bad. But yeah,
that's what makes McGregor the greatest. But yeah, let's move on.
All right. Same time we had a card in London, Box Nation. It was originally the Billy Joe Saunders Kurt Series card, but it just basically went to shit. Anthony Yarde ended up headlining. Bradley Skeeter was on it. Darryl Williams, Jermaine Smile rematch. The first fight was great, but the second fight it wasn't as good. But the fight that you've seen, Kimo, where do you want to start? The Yarde versus your favourite dish, biryani?
Yeah, man. I want to talk about Yarde for a little bit, because I'm very interested in this guy, but I'm also very skeptical at the same time. Because I didn't really know much about him, and I had a little bit of time in the airport, and I was just doing some research on it, watching some videos, just getting a little bit about his background story. And then this dude has barely been boxing, right? I mean, he came into the game very late, and he has hands down the craziest physique, I think. Maybe, I mean, you can compare it to AJ, but this guy's a fucking unit, man. Every time I'm watching on TV, I just can't believe how fucking jacked he is. I mean, he is just muscle on top of muscle. And even though that's very, obviously visually pleasing, especially for somebody like Lim, but that makes me very skeptical about his gas tank and his ability as a fighter. Because he has been fighting absolutely nobody. I mean, Bunce, again, being the fucking cunt that he is, was saying that, this guy is ranked in the whatever top 10. And I don't know how he was ranked in the top 10, but again, he looked like a fucking nobody. He fought like a nobody, and Yarde was just chilling out in the ring, just picking his shots, and then eventually knocking him the fuck out. So it's really hard to say where he's going. I am excited about it. I mean, I do see potential for this guy. I mean, he looks the part. He's got a lot of power. If they build him up the right way, he can go places. But I have this feeling with him, that the first guy that's kind of going to take his shots is just going to drag him, a little bit to the trenches, and he's going to be in deep trouble. I really don't know, because he does say the right things, though. He does say, I don't want to rely on my power. I just box, and if the knockout comes, it comes. And he does kind of fight like that. He does fight very relaxed and doesn't really, go too crazy in there. So that is a positive thing, but I don't know. That whole muscle mass thing just worries me a lot. What's your take on him, Ken?
I echo yours. The two concerns are the muscle. Can he go rounds? Because at the moment, I think apart from one fight, he's basically knocked out everyone in the. How many first round knockouts has he got? He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 first round knockouts. The furthest he's been is 4 rounds. And the other concern is, in the past history of boxing, dudes that can punch and are very big usually can't take a punch. So I'm skeptical until I see him fight someone that can, who's got decent knockout percentage, and seeing if you can actually take a punch off him. But he's quickly become one of Warren's, bigger fighters, just because of he attracts attention. He's impressive as a specimen, and everyone loves guys that knock people out. So because of that reason, I can see Warren being very patient with him and not really putting him in there with anyone until there's a belt at stake or something. Because I agree with you, his opponent, I don't know how he was ranked like 9th in the WBO, but that is Warren's organisation. Maybe Warren got him in 9th so he could take his spot or some shit. That he's very close with the WBO. So I'm concerned, man, until I can see him go rounds and take a punch. Until then, I'm on the fence.
Also, the pace that he's been fighting at, even if he goes rounds, is very slow. And they're all fought like a sparring match type of pace.
I disagree. Like, I've seen him times where he kind of turns up the pace and starts throwing combinations, and I do like when he does put his punches together. He throws a really nice uppercut. He hurt the dude Birani with a good uppercut, and I think you're doing him a bit of a disservice, because I thought the shot that dropped him, he feinted that. Yarde feinted that jab and threw that beautiful right hand, and I thought he took it pretty well, man. He got up, he didn't look too hurt. He carried on fighting. He shipped a few more shots, and then Yarde started unloading on him hooks and uppercuts, and the ref jumped in. But I don't think he was the worst opponent. I've seen worse dudes.
But no, I'm saying like the pace of a fight, not a one-sided pacing. Just because he's throwing in combination doesn't mean it's a high-paced fight. I'm talking about when you're giving and taking and giving and taking, and you're moving around, like a kind of fight that Easton was in. That kind of a pace is completely different than when you have a guy that you're very relaxed in front of, and Yarde does look very relaxed. He's not tensed up because of pressure being put on him. No, that's what I'm talking about.
That's fair, but I'm not talking about that fight in particular. I'm saying in other fight, I've seen him where he's been slow, he's just using the jab, and then all of a sudden he'll change pace and he start throwing combinations. But yeah, I see what you're talking about.
So yeah, but that will come. I mean, again, the level of opposition on these BT cards hasn't exactly been good lately. So, and I think it's the same with Dubois that we're going to talk about in a second. But what do you think of this guy, Hamada? You've watched him, right?
Anthony Yarde, he's a beast, man. I like him already, man. I don't know, man. I don't think with him that it's necessarily a similar situation with AJ. I think I've seen some of his training videos and that he's an incredible athlete. I mean, he's fast. He does shit like the human flag and all this kind of stuff. You could tell, like,
he has a track and field and a lot of different athletic backgrounds. Yeah? I mean, he was kind of a star as well. I saw in an interview in his high school with track and field. Like he's got a very athletic background. So the dude is probably just a naturally gifted, in terms of athletics. But yeah.
Ryan, to play devil's
that's why he's
advocate,
learning so fast on the job as well.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, and to play devil's advocate, I think you guys are kind of harping on, I guess, his physical build a little bit too much. Because I mean, there's been plenty of guys that are muscle bound and shit, and they have really good conditioning. But at the same time, that doesn't necessarily mean that just because he's athletic in all these other fashions, that he really has proper conditioning and stamina to go a lot of rounds in, a high-paced fight, or a fight that's going in a pace and in a style that doesn't necessarily suit him, which can be mentally taxing and exhausting in its own right. So really, I think it's really just a matter of opponents, and when he comes across somebody that is able to really take him rounds and also able to fight in a fashion that forces him outside of his comfort zone as to exactly how good we're going to see if he's going to be, But I mean, as it stands right now, he's blowing out the guys that he should be blowing out. He's doing what he's supposed to do at the very least. But I think they should try stepping him up a little bit more quickly though. Because most of these guys are no hopers.
Kimo, did you hear when Hamada was speaking? There was like a creaky door, and then all of a sudden he drops off the line.
yeah, I know, man. That was fucking weird.
You know why?
That was very awkward. I tried to just keep on talking to just keep the flow, but that was a bit weird.
Paul Bearer came and kidnapped his ass.
Actually, you're not far from the truth, because looking at Anthony Yarde's box rec, birthplace, Hackney.
Yeah, he's from the streets as well, man.
That's what I'm saying. His boys came and just took Hamada away for dissing Hackney.
We got to go to Hackney next time, man. Second coalition meetup. I hope there's a Nando's over there.
Of course there will be, man.
But what was I gonna say? Yeah, man, I'm excited for Yarde, but I was looking at the light heavyweight rankings. I mean, the only guys really on British level that he can face are all Matchroom fighters. I mean, I would love to see him fight a guy like Buglioni, but that's never gonna happen, is it?
Unlikely.
Yeah. So he's probably going to be fighting a lot of bums, and then I don't know if they're going to try to take him to the world level quite quickly, but we will see. He seems to, at least from him and his coaches, he seems to be wanting to take things quite slow because he's so inexperienced. So maybe they're going to take their sweet time beating up these Eastern Europeans.
Yeah. Just looking at WBO, that Richard Barani guy that you just fought, he was basically in 9th, and Joe Smith Jr. in 11th. But I know because he's highly rated with WBC. But it's crazy, isn't it? Like,
that's retarded.
Yeah, Barani, he's
ridiculous.
higher in the WBO than Joe Smith Jr., who's got some really good wins. It's fucking crazy. He's higher than fucking Sullivan Barrera. He was in 12th. Crazy, man.
Such a bunch of bullshit, man.
Yeah.
That guy's not even top 100, I can tell you now.
Yo, Hamada, you back, man. I just mentioned that maybe Anthony Yarde's boys might come and took over, because on BoxRec his birthplace is listed as Hackney, man, a place that he just shitted on. So.
No, my brother come in. He just wanted to have a word with me quick. My bad. Yeah, man, Anthony Yarde, he's a good athlete. I mean, he's very athletic, fast. He can do a lot of, you could tell he looks like the type of guy that can do backflips and human flags and all that kind of shit. But I don't know. We have to wait and see. Obviously, that's the question mark. Until it happens, we can't. He's not really built like a bodybuilder kind of like AJ. I think with him, that's just his natural frame. Some people, they're just naturally well built, genetics, etc.
Yeah, when you dropped off, I kind of said something similar.
Yeah, so I don't think it's AJ. You could tell AJ that's just pumping iron and pumping roids. So
Nandrolone,
all them shit, man.
Nando's loan. You put the Nandrolone in the chicken.
Yeah,
it is a good source of protein, man. Nando's.
But that Yarde guy, shit, man. That was awful, man. I mean, more evidence that Frank Warren owns fucking the WBO. More evidence. I mean, does Frank Warren? I got a question for you guys. does Frank Warren, out of any of his world champions, do they hold any other belt other than the WBO?
Cam will know this. I don't know.
I'd have to
off the
research
top
it.
of my head.
I'd have to research, but off the top of my head, I'll probably say no.
Saunders and Undercard are the ones come to mind, and they're WBO. He sends all his guys down the WBO. He doesn't send them down no other routes.
Yeah, Huey Fury's fighting Joseph Parker for WBO.
Exactly. Him and Frank, Bob Arum and Frank Warren, they have 50-50 stakes in the fucking WBO. Like Bob Arum as well. Bob Arum got Mayweather stripped of the WBO title after he beat Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he's that powerful with the fucking WBO. Crazy, isn't it?
Flanagan versus Verdeo, man. Coming soon.
Yeah, man. Warren Boxing Organization.
Yeah, so obviously sending them down that route. Probably the WBO will get freed up soon with Andre Ward talking about cruiserweight and fucking heavyweight and all that bullshit.
Tony Bellew.
He's gonna get sparred by Bellew, man.
Yeah, so yeah, he's probably going down that route. But it is what it is, man. Did you guys move on yet? Or you talk about Dubois and them guys?
Let's move on to Triple D. What do you think, Cam?
What can you say, man? His opponent was literally a cruiserweight. He weighed in at 199. He weighed in at 199, so I know he's 19 and he's young, but these type of fights are not going to do anything for him, man.
Dude, that was. I mean, to be fair though, the guy in terms of skill, I mean, at least he kind of knew how to block shots a little bit, and he tried to counter sometimes, but yeah, he was just outmatched in terms of size and power, and yeah, I don't know what this is. What this is going to gain for him. We've been through this conversation so many fucking times, and I'm kind of getting sick of it, to be honest. But at least they're starting to struggle on the broadcast as well. Even Bunce is starting to struggle to fucking deal with it. But he never gives a straight answer, which is just so fucking annoying, Cam. I can't stand this guy. Because Dempsey asks him straight up, like, let's be fair. He literally asked him, is it acceptable that he's fighting a cruiserweight in there? And then he just doesn't answer the question.
No, he did. He goes, there's an asterisk next to it. He said there's an asterisk next to it if it's like late replacement, blah, blah, blah. So I don't think it was his original opponent, but it's still a bad opponent.
No, he just doesn't call it as it is, man. He's not. I mean, Bunce is such a fucking politician in there, and he just keeps on lying and lying. Like, are you asking me if I want him to fight a cruiserweight? No, but blah 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 blah. Like, dude, just say it's not acceptable. Stop with the fucking. If you don't want all these late replacements all the time, then don't call up some guy in Hungary that you've never heard of, and expect him to just come over on 2 days' notice. Like, just stop with the bullshit and get some legit opponents, man. Seriously.
Yo,
I'm sure there's a correlation between all these fucking guys in weird countries that you've never heard of and then showing up. If you get a legit British level circuit guy, heavyweight, I'm pretty sure he's going to show up.
They should go after Dave Allen. They should get Dave Allen.
Yeah, man, they should go to Dave Allen.
And, I'm not sure if anybody from Uruguay has ever actually won a world title.
Probably not. But regardless, man, I mean, it's Dave Allen's Matchroom, right?
Yeah.
Nah, I don't think he's Matchroom.
He might be leaving soon though after hearing shit on him so much.
Yeah. The Rhino.
He's gonna drop like a bad habit.
Eddie might make that fight then.
Nah. Apparently, Eddie must be gutted, man, because they started pushing Dave Allen. They started there was this little hashtag going around, hashtag Operation White Rhino. Well, fucking Lenroy Thomas stopped that shit. I like Dave Allen. He's a good follower on Twitter. He even follows me on Twitter. He's a top lad, but I'm sorry, man. I think they should get him in for Dubois. If Dubois can stop him, then that's a statement, because I mean, Dillian White couldn't stop him. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, I think it's a bit early for that. Maybe in like 4 or 5 fights, maybe Dave Allen, but not yet.
I don't
Why?
know. What's he gonna fight these?
Why is that early?
Who's he gonna fight?
I don't know. That are the decent heavyweights that he can fight up until now. Like, I think they just need to pay dues a bit more. It's to Chemo's point. They phone up, really poor position and paying him peanuts, and they probably just think, "Fuck that, I'm not going over there to be cannon fodder," and then they have to get really late replacements. So once they start paying people decent money, like there's heavyweights out there with good chins that would be able to test, that could take a punch after Dubois and be able to kind of make him go rounds.
I saw that his opponent was a Mexican.
I don't think he was Mexican.
I don't think he was Mexican. I thought he was like South
He's
American.
Nicaraguan. No, you're
Wait,
Uruguayan.
were you talking about
Uruguayan,
Dubois?
Yeah, Uruguayan.
Yeah, that's what I mentioned earlier. I don't think I've ever seen a Uruguayan world champion.
Yeah,
Not
I
a
mean,
male anyway. I actually just looked it up. That there's a current female lightweight champion, but
like them guys, them guys from that neck of the woods, like if they're above, say, like 160, 168, I mean, that's no man's land for them. You know what I mean? Like they can't be any good.
Well, he did have a 15-0 record at cruiserweight.
it's not necessarily the case.
It's like a Japanese fighter above 140 or 147. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, Ryota Murata.
Yeah,
I
but
knew that was
they're
coming.
anomalies, isn't it? Like you get him, you get Julio Cesar Chavez, like
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
They're the exception that proves the rule, kind of.
Yeah.
Anyway, man, I think this is a rehash topic. I mean, I think we kind of come to the same conclusion every BT and Sky card. And I guess we just have to patiently wait until a live body gets in there. So,
Yeah.
Is there any other fights you want to discuss from that card, Cam?
Yeah. I just want to
Leon's
ask.
boy getting iced.
Say that again.
We need to talk about Leon's boy getting iced.
Yeah, I want to go through that. What other fights did you see, Hamada?
That's the only one I saw.
All right.
Other than
Yeah.
just,
No,
I didn't watch.
Nato, I assume you have not seen anything on Box Nation.
No.
All right, let's go to that fight. So you're talking about the Byfield versus Sammy McNess fight, yeah, Hamada? Just threw him in too early, in your opinion?
Yeah, it was too early for McNess. It was a one-sided beatdown. Byfield's not bad. I mean, he switches stances. I mean,
He's quite awkward, man.
He's a bit wild.
I thought the jab was a bit back of the handish from both hands when he switched in orthodox hand thingy, but the straight punches, just walking forward, throwing straight punches, were very effective against McNess.
And he seemed much physically stronger. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
McNess couldn't really handle the strength, and whenever he was coming forward, he couldn't. Even McNess would land a good shot here and there, but just couldn't put a dent in him, and he just put it on him, man. And yeah, apparently, I watched his interview after the fight with IFL, and it's like you get to know him a bit more, and he's got quite a little story behind him. I mean, he was talking about how his 9-month son tragically passed away, man, which is quite sad to hear. And yeah, and then afterwards, I mean, the scenes after the fight was disgraceful. I mean, like you don't want to see things like that. When you see things like that, you think to yourself, like, imagine if I was there at the arena and stuff like that went on, and do you know what I mean? It just leaves a bad taste in the mouth, man. I mean, it was quite bad as well. It was like literally a lot of people fighting with each other. Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah, Warren was fucking pissed afterwards, dude. He was raging the old fish eyes.
No, well, it's gonna, it's not good for the brand as well. Like, having these massive brawls in the crowd, and it delayed the card. People, I don't know if people were injured, hopefully not, but it just didn't really reflect bad. And I don't know the exact cause of it, but I think the fact that when Byfield won and he was doing the West Ham, I think it's called the irons gesture when they put like the cross across the chest. So
Yeah,
I don't know if it was him that kind of instigated the whole shit, but just back to the fight, yeah, man, he was just a lot better than McNess, man. McNess had started to ship too many shots. He was hurt multiple times, and Byfield just did, yeah. They obviously match made it pretty bad, and he said it from the commentary team. They were saying before the fight, Byfield says, look, this is too much of a step up for him. I'm going to beat him easily, and that was the case. And yeah, I was impressed to a point with Byfield. I just think his jab with either hand was good. Like, it was a bit slappy with the back of the hand, like I was talking about O'Hara Davis's. Yeah. And yeah, but overall he was effective, and it was decent, man. I'm glad Tibbs threw in the towel, because
it was getting ugly.
He was taking a lot of right hands, and yeah, just from the crowd trouble, man. I hope that shit doesn't happen again. It wasn't nice to see. But a few more other fights that I saw that I don't think no one else on the call saw. Bradley Skeet, I say it, every time he fights, he's just too safety first, man. He can change gears and turn up the pressure, but he doesn't. Like, and sometimes I think it's on his trainer, man. His trainer's like, yeah, you win in it easily, don't take any risks. But it's prize fighting, man. People come to see excitement, possibly knockouts, and you can be the best boxer in the world, but if you're just putting people to sleep and just putting on boring performances, then yeah, you might become a world champion, but you're not going to make the big money. You're not going to get recognized as like an all-time great. And I think, when you're overmatched and your opponent's a lot weaker than you, man, you need to step up and try and get him out of there. Like Dale Evans, he was the fortunate guy that fought Mike Towell when Towell got injured and sadly passed away. I don't know if that was in the back of his mind, but he did have a 4-round afterwards, which he won on points, and the next fight was the one on Saturday against Bradley Skeet. But he just didn't put any effort in, man. He was trying to plod forward, he was getting picked up with the jab, and it just seems like he was just happy to kind of just, lose on points. At no point did I see any concern where he thought, right, I need to just, go for broke and just try and land anything big on Skeet. I think Skeet only got a hit with a clean shot, like in one round throughout the fight, and in a 12-round fight, catching a guy like once or twice, man, it's pretty poor, man. But yeah, Skeet just needs to be a bit more impressive, man. Other fight I saw, Larry Akandayo versus Gary Kokorin. I saw Kokorin against Liam Williams last year. He impressed me to a point. He's a bit easy to hit, but I don't think I saw Akandayo before, to my knowledge. It reminded me a bit of Lamont Peterson, very similar frame and body type, very similar stance, and yeah, it was good, man. When he was picking Cochran off on counters, Cochran's kind of going forward, bit of a brawler, just throwing everything, walking him down, and Akandayo, he kind of moves a bit too much when he slips, almost kind of just goes too low, puts himself off balance a bit, but it was one of those fights. You could have it a draw, you could have it a couple of rounds to Kokorin, a couple of rounds to Akandayo. It was just one of those fights. I didn't personally score it because it wasn't really a necessary fight for me, but yeah, not a bad fight to start off the Box Nation feed. I don't think it was on the BET Sport. I think BET Sport went live after this fight, and the first fight they did go live was the rematch between Darryl Williams and Jermaine Smile. As I mentioned a bit earlier, that the first fight was excellent. It was in Leeds Leicester a couple months ago, and this one wasn't as good. Smile was trying to box a bit more. Williams kind of gave the first few away. He managed to drop Smile, I think, in the third with a nice kind of right hand on top of the head. Smile went down, took a count, came back. And then Smile had a bit more success in the kind of mids, but then Williams took it over. Just aggression, and he just landing more shots on Smile, but it was an okay fight, nowhere near as good as the first war, but I kind of expected that because I thought Smile fought the wrong fight last time. He got dragged into a bit of a firefight where he should have tried and box, but this one was a majority again. I think the first was a majority of. I think the first was a split, and this rematch was a majority. So Williams been training with Ricky Hatton up here in Denton/Hyde, and it was funny at one point. He seems a very arrogant guy, man. He started I don't think Smile was engaging as much, so he put his hand down and started barking at him, and he was doing the barking stuff at the weigh-in as well. And Ricky was funny, man. At the end of the round, he sat him down and he's like, "What the fuck are you doing? Like, you give him 20 seconds to rest, you fucking dickhead." And the commentary team are like, "Yeah, we apologise for some of the language." It was just a proper.
Dude, Ricky is awesome.
Yeah, it was just a proper Ricky Hatton comment, man. It was hilarious, but yeah, that was that, and that's the only fights I saw. So, shall we move on?
Let's do it.
There was a card in Russia, Lebedev. I did catch it. The fight today was a nice stream on YouTube, Russian commentary, but
HD.
it was a pretty lackluster fight, man.
HD, bruv.
Bit of a jab fest. He did drop Flanagan with a body shot, I think in 9th or 10th or something. But overall, man, it was a one-pace fight, not much action, very jab orientated, and it wasn't that enjoyable for me, even though I'm a big Lebedev fan, and I'm amazed for such a big dude how he's so light on his feet. But everyone tells me on the undercard it was a great fight, Pavel Malikov versus Daiki Kaneko. But that was the worst stream. I think it was even 60p. So I thought, I'm refusing to I'm refusing to watch this, man.
That shit was in 8-bit, like Super Mario.
Yeah, exactly. It was like Nintendo, so I refused.
Fucking degenerate, man.
No, I refused to watch
Seriously, Cam, you need to lay off those bad streams, man. It's not good for you.
That's what I'm saying. I didn't watch it. I refused to watch it, even though everyone Nothing for Something and Jamaica were telling me it was a great fight. So I'll probably try and go back and watch that. But did you catch that one, Naoto?
No, I didn't. I'd definitely like to see it though, because I've seen Kaneko before. He lost to Uchiyama a few years ago, so curious to see how Pavel did against him.
Casual.
What's happening, Naoto? You slipping these days? You're not watching as much boxing.
He just wants to talk about Eubank, man. That's what he's waiting for, dude.
You mean Eubank?
Yeah, but the Russian cards are really tough to fight. To find live though. I usually wind up having to watch those after the fact, and so if they put up 8-bit bullshit, then what can I really watch?
Just last week before we go into Eubank and the tournament, there was an a la card. I don't know if you caught that, Naoto.
I saw Mike Sayo knock out Daniel Diaz in the first round. Really impressive knockout. Caught him up high on the head, and Diaz was pretty much done after that.
Dropped him 3 times, didn't it?
Yeah. At first, it didn't even look like they were punches that should have hurt him, but if you watch it back, you could see that he just caught him up on the temple, and that just fucked his equilibrium, and so he just never got it back, and ref stopped it because he dropped him 3 times in the first round, and that was it. He couldn't stay on his feet. And every first punch that he would hit him with, he would be all over the damn place. Then on the undercard, oh sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just saying on the undercard, Joey Kanoi did a good job beating Melvin Jerusalem, who had just fought Wenheng Manayothin for a world title. So I imagine Kanoi might get another shot at it because he fought Heki Butler, I think a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, something like that. For Butler's title. Wound up coming up short, but I think he's improved since then, so I imagine he'll probably get another title shot sometime soon.
Yeah, I didn't see that.
Mike Sayo should be on the cusp of getting something good too, fairly soon. I'd imagine.
Yeah, hopefully maybe they'll do a deal with Aram again or something, because I know he was on the undercard of a Daenerys fight when I think Daenerys was still semi with Aram. He's not with him now, but yeah, hopefully I'd like to see Magsayo back in the States. I know Lim has seen him train in the wildcard, and they went out for lunch and stuff like that, and he said they're really good guys. But undercard, the channel I think that broadcast it in the Philippines, I think their own YouTube, it looks like their own professional YouTube, their personal YouTube, they put these fights up today, so they were all in great quality, semi-English, sometimes they'll speak Filipino, and then they'll go into English. So if you want to catch these fights, just ask me and I'll send you the link. But there was a guy called Gio Santisma versus a guy whose name was actually Good Luck Marimo, and it was a pretty vicious knockout, man. First round again, He just hit him with a big right hand, man, and he landed face first. He wasn't out cold, but yeah, he managed to scrape himself up, but the ref just immediately stopped it. And there was another one, Albert Pagara fought. I'm not even pronouncing his opponent's name, but his opponent was just clowning about, messing about, waving at the crowd, fucking about, and he got caught with a body shot in the fourth round, and it just ended him, man. He just dropped and he didn't recover. But yeah, that was the fights I saw. There's nothing else that I've seen, unless you guys want to add anything.
The fight that I previewed last week, like right at the end, Moises Fuentes versus Ulysses Lara. Fuentes wound up getting upset. Lara's a guy that has like almost as many losses as he does wins, and Fuentes is a former champion, strawweight, and he almost won one at light flyweight. Came up short against Nietes though, but at super flyweight he just got well, not schooled, but I mean it was from what I saw, because I was streaming it, so cut in, cut out a little bit. He was having a hell of a time against Lara, and Lara wound up getting a majority decision over him. So Fuentes needs to move back down or find some way and get back to winning. Or I don't know, he might just be falling off. Maybe his confidence has been shattered since Tanaka beat the crap out of him.
Bro, how did you forget to mention last week that your boy Mohammed Wasim was on the same card?
Oh yeah, Mohammed Wasim. You know what? He wasn't even listed until like the very last minute. They just like throw him on the fucking card like out of nowhere down in Panama. Because it was only a 6-rounder. Like, it wasn't for any kind of stakes or anything. Because, Wasim has the silver belt and everything. And they were fighting at, like, a 120 catch rate or some shit like that. So,
my Pakistani,
he didn't have to make the flyweight limit at all.
My Pakistani brethren just ticking over. He's just ticking over at the moment.
Yeah, well, hey, let's see what he's got. I think he's actually like legit a really good fighter too. Like he's a really good boxer. He's just gonna have a hell of a time because Daigo Higa's the champion for the WBC, and that guy's a fucking brute. There's really not much you can say beyond that. Is that when you're fighting him, you're in a fight, you're not in a boxing match.
Yep. So. All right, thank you. Hopefully Daniel Lim may have landed and may have joined the call. Are you there, Daniel? Dan?
Yeah. What's up?
You got a lot of background noise. Are you like literally getting your baggage from the?
Yeah, I'm at the baggage claim area.
Oh shit!
I got my girl Chantel with me. Chantel, you want to say hi? Hi.
Is she shy?
You right?
Huh? Yeah, I just landed.
You right, Shags?
I slept well.
Aye.
I'll be back. I'm gonna be back. I'm gonna be back in Scotland sooner than later. That's for sure. Favorite part of the trip. So, I don't really have much to say about the fight itself, though. I just thought Taylor's a beast. I think he's gonna be in that strap season in a bit sooner than later. He's nice. I rewatched the fight on the plane ride here, and he definitely dominated Davies in a way that I didn't see it when we were there at the fight. So Taylor's the truth, man.
Lim, the
He's
people
really...
in the
glad to hear you say that, Daniel.
Lim, the people in the chat are disappointed that you didn't nick the bird from the two fat ladies.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I definitely had opportunities elsewhere. We were sitting in front of or behind that one girl who literally asked me if I wanted to get in her fanny that night, and I was so shocked I didn't even know what to say. But I definitely want to go back to the two fat birds and ask that girl out next time. So that was good, man. I don't have much to say. The fight card was awesome. I mean, what were there, like 3,000-4,000 people there? And the amount of noise that they made for the amount of people, it just goes to show you, like, the crowds out in the UK are just so much more lit than they are here in the States, man. It sucks. Like, that amount of noise would come from, like, an arena of, like, 12,000 people here in the States, So, like, Scottish people are so cool, too, man. Like, everywhere we went, people were offering us drinks, like, they're just really proud of their city, man. And that's the thing that I love the most about it. So, shout out to our boy Ray, a fucking redheaded Scottish.
It was Jay, bro. Jay.
And those goofy motherfuckers. So it was a good time, man. It was definitely real. And can't wait to go back, man. I wouldn't mind going to a big fight in London or like Manchester next time at the Copper Box, you know? Let's make it happen.
Let's do it, brother.
And shout out to Chantel, man. My new favorite fighter. Chantel Cameron, 2-0, fighting out of Northampton. I think she's going to be like the Triple G of the 135 division in the female ranks.
No, they already have a Triple G called Katie Taylor, so sorry, bro.
Hey, Chantel has this thing where she asks people to sponsor her. Like, and I'm thinking, like, maybe I should just give her $1,000 a month. And then, like, by month 2, I can just fly her out to LA and train with her.
We mentioned earlier, Linda, how quick you fall in love.
Yeah. But Chantel, if you guys don't know who Chantel is in the chat, just look her up on Google or YouTube. Chantel Cameron, she's a beast. And a real sweetheart, too.
She is. Lim, I know you're in the airport getting ready to go home. Do you want to add anything else, or just want to mute yourself?
Good, man. That's just a good weekend. You know, hopefully next time we'll do it again, man, rather than later. So, like I mentioned to you guys, like I spend about as much money on this trip as I do like a Vegas trip. So, like honestly, I don't mind coming out to the UK or anywhere in Europe 3, 4, 5 times a year. You know, fuck it.
Lim, who did you like? Who did you like hanging out with more, me or Chemo?
I think you're like the emotional side piece, you know, like the one that you go out on like a really nice romantic candlelit date with. Chemo's the type where if you just want to get like nasty, you know, do some just nasty shit in the bed. That's a type, you know. So it's like the angry Arab guy and like the really sweet, you know, mild Pakistani guy. So it's like the best combination I can ask for, honestly.
Hey, Lim.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing everyone a disservice if I don't ask you this question.
Yes.
How was Lucasade?
Dude, Lucasade is shit, Cam. All right.
What the build-up? And then you say shit.
Good. It's not good. And honestly, Nando's isn't all that great either. I mean, it's good. It's a really good meal, but I actually didn't know Nando's was just traditional Peruvian chicken. And there's so many Peruvian chicken spots here in like in California. So it was good though. It was a good meal.
Isn't it Portuguese?
No, there's Peruvian spots. I know Nando's is Peruvian though, right? Right, Cam?
No, it's Portuguese.
Oh, it's Portuguese. Anyway, I've had both. Peruvian. I'm sorry. Peruvian is more of like lomo saltado, like beef and chicken. But they do have Portuguese chicken spots here as well. So, but yeah, Lucasade honestly wasn't that good.
Is it better than Gatorade?
Nah, I prefer Gatorade, man.
Oh, and you didn't like Iron Brew, did you?
No, that stuff is trash, man.
Yeah,
it's terrible. I wouldn't even give that to my boy Lukey, man. That stuff is garbage, bro. No, but Lucasade is like I hate the bottle too. The bottle is a crap, and the name is just stupid. Like, where does Lucasade even come from, man?
Glucose, man. Glucose.
No, I know, but the name itself, like, what's a derivative? Is that like the
Glucose aid, isn't it? Glucose aid.
Oh, glucose. That's fair. Okay, well, I stand corrected. Yeah. Anyways, man, that's it, boys. It was a nice trip, man. A lot of fun, and shout out to freaking Cam and Chemo and for coming out clutch. Like 2 really good dudes, man. And it's kind of crazy to think like these are guys that I've only met twice in person, and they're probably 2 of the closest people that like I have in my life. As corny as that shit sounds, you know what I mean? So it's kind of crazy and weird.
What about your girlfriend?
Huh?
What about your girlfriend?
I don't have a girlfriend, man, but I wouldn't mind marrying a Scottish girl in the future. Hopefully, we can open up our own fish and chips restaurant in Glasgow.
I mean,
Liv, talk about the food.
They throwing the
That
fanny
shit
at you.
nasty.
The food sucks in Scotland. It's
the post party food. You know, not the regular restaurants, but if you go out and you want to get food at 3:00 in the morning, they only have this really I've had fish and chips and all that in England, but this is a different level of greasy, nasty.
Especially the first time, man, when I was just ordering at this place and there was this really like drunk girl who was ordering like this random shit next to me. So I was like, I'll have whatever she has. And then they made it, and it just looked like 2 like fried penises. And, like, on top. I was like, what the fuck is this? I literally had one bite and I just threw it away, dude. I was like, this is bullshit.
Oh, fucking hell.
Yeah, but anyways, at least I got a good hug and, conversation out of her, but. And then what's a Primark? There's a store called Primark here. That's so I bought a hat for £2, and then I didn't even try it on. And then on the way out, and then on the way out, I put the hat on, and it looked like shit on me, so I just left it there because it was £2, man. That's insane.
Primark is fucking trash, man. The only thing I buy from Primark is socks and underwear. I'm buying nothing.
Yo, Hamada, we did go to the Celtic Superstore and bought some sweet gear.
Oh yeah, dude, we got some sick ass Celtic soccer gear, man. Got a nice jersey.
Celtic, man, not Celtics. Man.
Celtic.
Celtics, man.
Celtic.
Anyways, I went up to the register and I was like, yeah, I've been a lifelong, Celtic fan since today. And she was like, oh, today? Yep. I'm a ride or die.
So what did you buy? A kit? A jacket?
No, I just bought a jersey, a kit, a short sleeve kit, and just like a tank top. Not a tank top, but more of like a rugby style tank top. So
no name and number on the back.
No, I don't know any of those names. Like, do they even have any good players?
Nah, they don't. Celtic's fucking shit, man. And tell Brian King I said that as well, because that's his team.
Yeah.
He's gonna probably listen anyway, so yeah, Celtic are shit.
Shout out to Brian King, by the way. We met Brian as well, and in person, like Brian is like a really really cool dude. So
yeah, he is, isn't it? Surprisingly, you'd think he's a nutter.
Yeah, in person he's totally like normal. So yeah, but I think he's gonna come out to the Triple G Nello and that other the three midget card in LA the week before, and I'll take him out to that fight for sure. So, yeah, man, overall it was a good trip.
Midget
and honestly,
card.
I think...
Did you just say midget card?
I did. I think I prefer, like, cards like these moving forward compared to, Vegas fights, because Vegas is so expensive. The fights are usually trash, and the atmosphere isn't good. And plus, I like traveling, man. I like exploring new places and new cultures. So, I'd rather spend $1,500, like, in freaking Ireland, like, for a Carl Frampton fight in Belfast. And going to Vegas, you know what I mean? Belfast. And hopefully I get to see
Glad.
And hopefully I can see my girl Chantel versus Natasha Jones, like in the future, man. I'll definitely fly over for that fight. I swear to God.
Me too.
Yeah, Chantel's gonna be a problem at that weight division, man.
Yeah. She's female Golovkin.
Shout out to the Cyclone girls, man. Oh my God. They're so fine. Shout out to Barry. Shout out to Shane. Shout out to Cyclone.
Don't forget about Blaine McGuigan.
Who the fuck is that?
Blaine.
He runs the promotional company.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I thought Barry ran that shit.
Nah,
the Shane and Blaine.
Yeah, yep. Shane is pretty thick though, man. He's pretty buff.
He's fat, dude. He's just fat.
It's thickness. It's not muscle. It's just big.
Chubby. Yeah, but hey, if I hear that he's putting hands on Chantel, he's gonna have problems, man. I'd fight him for that shit, man. I swear to God.
You'd fuck him up, bro.
I will for Chantel, man. I'm gonna put in that work.
Did you get to see Eddie?
I did. He's a handsome motherfucker, man. I like Eddie. I wouldn't mind.
Eddie.
I like Eddie. I like Eddie, man. I do. He's a good promoter, and I don't know. I know people gave him slack for not promoting this card like he should have, but he probably doesn't think highly of O'Hara, you know.
Now, he just hates the McGuigans and that. He doesn't want to help them make more money and sell more tickets. That's the truth.
Yeah, no, me and Cam were talking about this too, but if Eddie was promoting that fight, I mean, it probably would have been sold out, right?
Well, we actually always said that in the past, but he's struggled on a few cards lately, man. Like the Summertime Brawl, even with the JD Sports promotion. It was fucking shit, man. There was nobody there.
Sure.
Summertime, bro. Fucking hell. That was garbage.
Oh, yeah, I went to JD Sports too, man. It's a nice store. I was trying to look for some AJ gear, but couldn't find any. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
There's
AJ,
posters of AJ everywhere, though, man, in those stores.
Yeah.
My God.
Yep. Dude, and Scottish
He's
girls
a
are
superstar.
hot. People were telling, like, giving us the impression that Scottish girls weren't all that, but I saw some couple bangers, man. So, I want to go back, dude. I want to go back.
Yeah, man. It was too short, man. 3 days is.
I'm already looking at. I'm already looking at tickets to Dublin, like in late August. So, like, how cool would it be if we went to Dublin for the Conor Floyd fight?
But it's. Oh, you mean to just watch it there in a pub or what?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. No, I'm not gonna fucking go to Dublin for that fucking freak show. What are you talking about, man? I almost got tempted into that, but no. We're gonna go to a fucking real fight, man. Jesus Christ.
Belfast.
Plus, he's gonna lose anyway, so everybody's gonna be depressed. We needed a situation where the Irish guy wins, and then we can party with them. You know what I mean? And just be glad.
Give us a Carl Frampton impression.
No, man, that's Daniel Limbs, dude.
Just going off saying, I'm glad O'Hara quit. Like, give us something.
I'll give Lim the honors. He's the original Carl Frampton. And his is actually better than mine, I'll be honest. But he's at the airport, so he's probably not going to do it now, is he?
No. What are you going to say?
Nothing, man. Hamada just wants to hear your Carl Frampton, but we can do that for the preview. His fight's in 3 weeks, right? Yeah, it's coming up soon as well.
Is he fighting?
He's fighting some guy that only Nyota knows, so...
He's a murderous puncher, though.
Sure.
I wouldn't mind to go to that, but sold out, man. 2 minutes.
It's sold out.
Yeah, it's sold out in 2 minutes, blood.
Are you serious?
Yeah, dude. It's Belfast.
Yeah, Kimo, I looked at tickets on Viagogo as well. Like £250 per ticket.
I know, man. Carl Frampton is fucking hot shit. When he comes back to Belfast, everybody's just going crazy. And Josh Taylor's going to be like that as well. Once he takes that fucking Ricky Burns throne.
I hope so.
Lim,
God, he's going to be such a superstar.
Lim, you might change your mind now. Could your girl Chantal's on the undercard?
I know. She's fighting on the Belfast card, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I might have to go to that, man. I need to see her become 3-0, and then 4-0, and 5-0, and 6-0.
You're gonna be like her groupie.
Huh?
You're gonna be her groupie. You still there, Lim?
I think I'm breaking up.
We'll
Cam, I'm gonna go to sleep soon, man. Shall we talk a little bit about Eubank, and then I'm gonna hit the road, or the bed, I should say.
Yeah. All right. I know Hamada wanted to talk about the Super Series. The kind of final 8 have been announced for both cruiserweights and super middleweight, and it's a good transition because I think they're saying if Eubank, the winner of Eubank versus Abraham will be the last person entered into the tournament. So, do you want to cover the seeding, or should we just talk about preview for next week?
Let's talk about the seat. Let's talk about the seeding actually, because it's probably more interesting than the actual fight with Abraham. Because this came to be out of nowhere. I mean, I always check my Twitter and stuff for news, but all of a sudden I read that Eubank was in the fucking tournament, and I have no idea where this came from. And then I watched the actual video of seniors showing up at that press conference, and again, I gotta say it's pretty fucking epic, but. How serious should I take this, Cam? Because I don't trust these motherfuckers for shit. I mean, from going and fighting nobodies and refusing to sign a fight to going to Abraham and then all of a sudden entering a fucking tournament, with some of the best guys in there. It sounds to me like it's too good.
Some of the best guys.
Yeah, I'd say that.
No, but I'm saying like in terms of competition level, it's a big step up, man. He's gonna potentially be facing guys like Callum Smith and George Groves. I have no issues with that because I've been desperate for this guy to fight somebody, you know. So it's I don't know. I don't really trust it. I don't know about you guys. What's your take? I have a feeling they're gonna pull out of this somehow.
Yeah,
I feel trust them, but just gotta. It is what it is. They've entered, so we just gotta wait and see. I mean, I said that they could just bail out at any time. You know what I mean? Because they're a law unto themselves. Like they do what they fucking want. So it's quite risky getting them in, but let's see what happens. Innit? Hopefully he doesn't, and hopefully he fights.
Yeah, I'm skeptical, Chemo, because I've read stuff from the World Boxing Series company themselves saying the winner goes into the tournament. I never read a quote from the Eubank saying we may decide to enter the tournament. So it's like they're telling two different stories. So
but Senior was there on Saturday. He was at the draw.
That doesn't mean shit, bro. That doesn't mean shit. That doesn't mean shit. The fact that he was there.
They don't really mean shit.
It doesn't mean anything
there,
until they actually get it in the ring.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true, but that's one sign that they, like, you know, what I mean? They're the draw on Saturday. So.
Well, I mean, for their sake though, like, I mean, the first draw that they have, Avni Yildirim isn't really like that great of a fighter, and the second draw, they're guaranteed basically to fight against another British opponent, either Groves or Cox. So I mean, either way, I think they're in a good position.
Did you just say
to make some good money off of it? Jamie Cox.
Oh, okay.
George Groves to Jamie Cox.
Chemo's
Get your mind out of the gutter, Chemo.
Chemo's thinking about those Scottish deep fried cocks. That's what you're thinking.
So who we've seen the draw. I mean, Callum Smith's fighting Skoglund, who light heavyweight coming down. I think that's the easy touch. That's Skoglund's not. I haven't seen Skoglund fight, but I looked at his record. I mean, he's actually got a better resume than Callum Smith himself. But
yeah,
you got. I mean, they've probably picked him for a reason. He's a light heavyweight coming down, so could be dead at the weight.
Does anyone know if this is true? Because sorry to cut you off. Did someone said to me Smith was seeded 1? Is that true? No.
Groves was seeded.
Yes, 1. I said that. No, Callum Smith is the favorite, betting favorite.
No, he's the betting favorite, but Groves was seeded.
He wasn't seeded number 1 though.
So Groves got to choose. He got to choose his opponent. He chose Cox personally.
Yeah, he chose Cox personally. Yeah.
Wow. Going for the
It was strategic blood. It was strategic blood.
I don't know. This super middleweight one looks shitty compared to the cruiserweight. You look at the cruiserweight and you're like, oh shit.
Well, with cruiserweight, it's like the best guys are all in it. You know, with super middleweight, it's got like you have some of the better guys, but it's not like a complete like this like whoever wins this is the best fighter at this.
Yeah, like Hamada saying.
I still think it's exciting. I still think it's really exciting.
It is. It's really a good tournament. It definitely is.
Well, what concerns me though, you got guys coming down like Hamada saying Skoglund's coming down from like light heavy, but I'm not sure. I need to check that because I'm sure he's fought a super middleweight before. But like Brahma's been at light heavy long time. I think he's gonna struggle coming down now after all these years. Plus, he's kind of a bit washed anyway.
Really? I don't know. I think if Brahma makes the weight properly, I think he's a dark horse, man. He's got a difficult style as a southpaw. He's got that kind of hit and not get hit style. I don't know. I mean, he could be a dark horse, Brahma.
No, you're right.
Skoglund's never fought below light heavy though.
That's what I'm saying. So that's crazy that he's decided to. I guess it's risk reward. They're thinking, well, if I can actually cut the weight and come down, the opportunity that this tournament's getting a lot of interest and positive feedback, he's probably thinking, well, it's worth the risk versus reward.
And even the American dude, he's a middleweight coming up as well, so.
Yeah, fuck this tournament.
No, he's been at super middleweight.
No, he's at middleweight. He's ranked at middleweight.
I mean, he's fought there before though.
Oh, I heard he was a middleweight come up, and I saw some like he's been ranked quite highly with some of the organizations at 160 as well. So, but yeah,
no. Well, I mean, he's been fighting at middleweight recently, yeah. But I'm saying he has.
Is he a good fighter? Is he good?
He's pretty good, yeah. He's pretty good. I mean, he's, prospect, but he was basically like a prospect on the rise. He's basically where Ward and Durrell kind of were before they entered the Super Six.
So this could be the making of him.
Possibly.
Okay.
Let's move on to... So go ahead.
That Bremer fight with Brandt is probably... That's the most interesting fight. I think Eubank Jr. is going to beat Abraham, and then I think Eubank Jr. will beat the Yildirim dude. I've never seen the Yildirim guy fight, but apparently he's a hothead, and he's a bit of a big puncher, but I don't know. I think Eubank would do with him.
Yeah, and I presume Groves would beat Cox, and Smith would most likely beat Skoglund, so... Do you guys know if the cruiser was the same? Was one dude seeded and he could choose his opponent?
Yeah.
Usyk
chose Hawk and Gasayev chose the Polish bald guy.
Little chick.
Yeah.
Right.
And it was the same. I don't know, the cruiserweight first round is...
It's not that great, is it?
The other two fights...
I mean, Dotikos versus Kudryashov is the shit.
Yeah.
That is the fight is the fucking... If you miss that fight, fuck you. Like, if you miss that fight, fuck yourself. Seriously. Because that fight is the shit.
Bradis and Perez is an intriguing fight as well. If Perez is... Obviously, he had the difficulty ever since, the whole thing with Salamov. Was it Magomed Abdul Salamov?
Yep.
Yeah.
And he hasn't been the same since, but... I know, he come down in weight, he looks fucking jacked as shit. I mean... You never know,
well,
man.
He looks in good shape, finally. I mean, he always looked a bit, chubby.
He looks more than good shape, man. He fucking looks juiced to the gills and jacked as fuck, man. Like, he looks fucking a complete contrast. He probably lost like fucking 15, 20% body fat. I mean, his whole body's changed completely, but yeah, so you never know. We have to wait and see, but other than that, the Dotikos fight and the Russian Hammer is going to be... It's gonna be brutal, man. That's gonna be a brutal fight. It's funny how no one picked the Russian Hammer, in the first round.
I wonder why.
I had to get left with him.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So tells you, Usyk's a little pussy, man. He picks Huck, man. I mean, that's fucking... Huck is fucking shot, man. He's gonna beat the shit out of Huck.
Diva shit.
Yeah, that's some bitch shit.
Oh well.
I ain't gonna lie. Sure. But the next round, if all the favourites and that come through, it'll be interesting, man. Who you not picking right now? Who you picking? Super middleweight and cruiserweight? Who you picking to win it all?
If Eubank does go into it, I probably overall in super middleweight, I probably pick Groves.
Really, you pick Groves?
Yeah, I pick Groves. Even though I'm not a fan of Groves, I just think that whole tournament's quite weak. In the cruiserweights, I'm unsure, I'd probably have to just watch a bit more of the guys before the tournament starts, and I'll give you my full pick. But yeah, I'm not sure at the moment.
Okay, because I'm the super middleweights. I think I'm probably gonna get some stick for this, but I think Callum Smith's gonna win it, man. I don't know, man. I just have that feeling. I think he's gonna be massive at the weight. He punches hard. I can't pick Groves. I can't trust that gas tank. I'm sorry, man. Groves is a knockout waiting to happen, man. Like, we've seen it in the fights with fucking the last fight he fought with Trudinov. Trudinov was putting it on him, and he's just a fucking knockout waiting to happen, man. Like, I don't know. Like I said, I think Bremer's probably, if Bremer can make the weight and stuff, and he's not shot, then he's probably a dark horse. But I'm leaning to Callum Smith. I think Callum Smith is gonna probably win. I think Callum Smith will be too big for Eubank. I think if they fought Callum Smith and Eubank, I think Callum Smith and Eubank will probably end up being the final if they're not. I don't know if they're in the same bracket. Or if they can play, if they can fight each other.
They could fight each other in the finals.
Oh, they can't in the finals, yeah. Not the.
They can, because they're on opposite sides of the tree.
They'll cross paths. All right then. So, I'd favour Callum Smith to beat Eubank Jr.
No, I'm saying they're on the opposite sides of the tree, so they would. Have
so
to
they
win
can reach
both of their...
Yeah. I think that'll be the final. Eubank Jr. versus Callum Smith. And I'd edge Callum Smith. The cruiserweights, I'm gonna lean with Usyk because I think his style will be problematic to a lot of the guys up there. I haven't seen the Cuban Dorticus fight, but so I'm not sure on him. But I'd lean to Usyk. I think out of all of them, he's got the style that will probably give the other guys fits. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Usyk.
What about you, Nato? At the moment, what do you stand?
I'm kind of inclined to agree with Hamada. We're at super middleweight for Callum Smith. I just have this feeling that he might be kind of poised to kind of win that whole thing, considering who he's up against. And then at cruiserweight, it's a little bit tougher for me because the thing is with Usyk, I've seen so many flaws with that fucking guy. It's just a matter of he hasn't fought the opponents that could really take advantage of him. I'd favor Mike Perez if he came out like the Mike Perez that all the way up until the Abdussalama fight. If he fights like that guy, I'd favor him to beat everybody in the tournament. But I can't necessarily, place my bet. Yeah,
inactivity as well.
Yeah, all that stuff all put together. But honestly, I think the winner of the Dorticos versus Kudryashov fight is really a dark horse, and to me that's like a 50-50 fight going into it. So I'm gonna say whoever wins that fight is gonna win the tournament.
Nice.
Because they both have that aggressive fuck your style, fuck your reputation mentality. Like Usyk's not gonna be able to do all that patty cake, shake my ass bullshit with them. They're gonna fucking bust him right in the fucking jaw if he tries that.
But I think the Russian Hammer will lose, man. I think this Dorticus guy will beat him. Even though I haven't seen the fight, the Russian Hammer is literally kill or be killed. So
he's like a really, really aggressive, huge punching Sullivan Barrera. That's how Dorticos fights.
If he's huge punching and he's got a bit of savvy about him, I think he'll do the Russian Hammer, because the Russian Hammer is just, he's a fucking lunatic in there, man. He's literally kill or be killed. So yeah, you'd have to favor him. Yeah,
they have the same mentality, so that's why I said that fight is going to be explosive. Like you can't blink when there's as soon as that bell rings, it's a fucking fight. There's not going to be any feeling out or any of that bullshit. They're going to be throwing bombs at each other.
Why is Huck in it, man? Why did they fucking dig Huck out of fucking wherever he's been, man? The guy's fucking shot to fucking shit, man. Like, why is Lebedev not in it?
I don't think he wanted to be in it. He just...
Lebedev's become a diva,
It seems so.
Like, the bullshit he pulled with the Gassiev fight, trying to keep his little WBA title. Like, Gassiev, it's a unification fight. Gassiev beat you. Give up your belt, man. Like, what's wrong with you?
Right.
Apparently he's put one on the line, and now he's saying he doesn't want to be in this tournament. I mean, yeah, fuck off then. You're not relevant no more then. See you later.
What do you think instead of Marco Huck, they should have put Marty Yaskin in there?
It's lookalike, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
fucking Marty Yaskin will get fucking started. What happened to Glowacki? I thought Glowacki was going to be in it.
That's what I thought, but maybe he just declined. I don't know.
But yeah.
I think he would have picked him again. Usyk would have picked him again because he's already beaten once. Diva status. Alright, staying on, same subject. Eubank Jr. is fighting Abe this week. Neil, what's your thoughts on this fight?
Abraham is very old and really doesn't throw punches, so I mean the danger is still there. I mean, obviously because he is a huge puncher and everything, but I don't know. Eubank, as long as he's relatively smart about it, I mean, he should very easily be able to outpoint Abraham. Just be a step ahead of him, flurry at him, even if you're just flurrying at his fucking guard, and then get out completely out of range. And he should be able to do that, and win on points fairly clearly.
This is easy work for Eubank, man. I mean, Abraham, he's fucking shot to shit, man. Like, he can't pull the trigger no more.
Abe's on a retirement tour. He's just going around picking up a few more checks before he retires.
The thing about Abraham is as well, Abraham, he has no counter punching at all. I think with Eubank Jr., the way to get Eubank Jr. is by countering him when he's throwing his uppercut from fucking the front row, and he's throwing his 10, 15 punch combinations, and Abe's just going to be earmuffs, blah, 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 and then he's just going to try and get something off after Eubank's finished punching, like. And I just think the recipes for disaster, and Abe's just going to... Abe's tough. He won't get... I don't think Abe will get stopped. I think he'll go to points, but yeah, I think Eubank will literally will outwork him. Will outwork him easily. And yeah, and then Eubank will head for the tournament.
Yeah, I think the same. Chemo dropped off, but he did say before you go, just you give his prediction. He thinks that Eubank will win on points. Yeah, I just don't think Abe's got anything left, really. I thought his performance against Gilberto was terrible. It's like he didn't even try and win. He was just going there high guard. Didn't really have any positivity in the fight. Just fucking walking around and following the dude around. I don't think he's personally borrowed. When you get to a status like that, when you've kind of done it all, you're just picking up final checks and you just want to collect a bit more money before, you're going to call it a day. And my only concern is like Eubank just going crazy on him and just catching elbows and fucking breaking his hand or something like that. But serious, because Abe's just going to have, like you said, the high guard up. Just and the thing about Eubank is if he's got a target that's standing in front of him, he'll throw 15 shot combinations. And I could see it actually getting a bit boring where he's just standing there throwing loads of shots, half of them are getting blocked, and he's not doing any damage on him. So yeah, I don't think it's going to be a great fight, to be honest.
Yeah, it's not going to be fucking Abe shot shit, man.
Yeah,
I just think, especially at this stage of his career, like this is only going to go one way. Eubank's going to dominate.
Yeah,
and you're right, man. Eubank might hurt his hands on Abraham because even Abraham has a fucking hard head, man.
Yeah.
So hopefully Eubank comes out unscathed and goes into the tournament. By the way, on the tournament thing, have they discussed like what channel it's gonna be on and like how they're gonna do it? As in, like, are they gonna have, say, for example, 2 fights in one night or fights on the undercard from the tournament? Do you know what I mean? Like, have they spoke about that shit?
I've not seen anything. Have you, Nato?
Nah, not me either.
I think
it seems like they're aiming for Showtime to pick it up, but
yeah.
How dope would it be though if like you had two you had 2 separate fight nights and then you have them on the undercard? So for example, you have Huck Usyk and Bradis Perez on one card, and then you got the other 2 fights like the following week on one card together. Do you know what I mean? That would be dope, man.
That'd be the best way to sell it, because you're kind of following a story. Okay, this guy's beat this guy, now who's going to fight him next? So in theory, that would be the best way.
Apparently, the rumor is that Callum Smith's fight is already like sorted out. I think Callum Smith's fighting the Skoglund guy in September in Liverpool.
Right.
So
most likely it'll seem that it'll be if Naota's thinking Showtime in the States, then most likely Sky over here, because Groves is usually on Sky, Callum Smith is on Sky. It's only
it even lists on Boxrec UK Sky for Smith versus Skoglund.
Not really, because Hearn. Someone asked Hearn about that on Twitter. I think it was yesterday, and Hearn said he's not sure. He doesn't think so.
Seriously?
So, yeah, that's what he said. That's what his reply was.
Who would pick it up then?
I don't think so.
Because if Eubank enters it, if he decides to enter it, if he beats Abraham, that he's going to be most likely on ITV unless they do a deal with Sky. And Box Nation,
it's kind of messed up, isn't it?
Yeah, and Box Nation don't really have anyone either in the cruiserweight or the super middleweight, so I can't see it being on Box Nation.
I have a sneaky feeling. I don't know anything. I haven't read anything, but I have a sneaky feeling that Eurosport might come into play in this one. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I just have a sneaky little feeling.
Eurosport ain't doing shit in years. It's gonna
be on a channel we don't even expect.
Euro Channel ain't done shit in years. The last time I seen on Euro Channel was, I think, Leo Pai versus, was it Vladimir Klitschko? That's the last thing I saw, I think.
That was on Eurosport. And they had Tyson Fury in the studio.
I remember that. That was some cheap set. Alright, let's move on to preview a few more cards. We have an excellent card at the... Oh, sorry, I just need to mention Selby versus Barros is also on that pay-per-view. Abraham versus Eubank. Man, I can't believe that's pay-per-view in the UK again. I ain't paying shit. Yeah, Selby...
Up to $17.99 I had as well.
Fuck that. Selby versus Barros is on that. Robbie Davis Jr. is fighting someone. Martin Joseph Ward's fighting Anthony Carcase. And Kid Galahad, who I mentioned last week. Dennis Salin pulled out because of cocaine use, so he's fighting Jose Cayetano, who's previously fought Scott Quagg, and he went 10 rounds with Leo Santa Cruz. He went 10 rounds with Leo Santa Cruz as well, so I can't see Kid Galahad stop him, to be honest. He's only been stopped once.
He could, if he's on the roids.
Maybe.
Kid Galaroids.
That's true. He did get stopped by Quigg.
Yeah, Galahad's never had power like that anyways. He's been more like he's the typical Ingo kind of fighter, switch it in, kind of slick movement kind of style, so probably be a Galahad on points.
Yeah.
This is a big one for Lee Selby though. Lee Selby has to perform, man.
I'm past this fight though, we kind of previewed it fucking 6 months ago or longer than that. It's I just want him to get this fight over.
This shit feels like it was supposed to happen a year ago.
Yeah, man, Barros will probably get chlamydia or something and get pulled out the fight on Friday or some shit.
He did not fuck with that.
But
Selby has to perform though, man. Selby has to put on a show, because he's literally become irrelevant now in boxing.
That's it. That chick that offered Lim or Fanny is gonna get Barros some fucking STD.
Gonorrhea.
But yeah, man, Selby has to perform, man, because he's bordering on fucking being irrelevant, and he's a world champion. That's crazy. And in Britain over here, we celebrate world champions, and this is literally fucking fucked it all up, man, for himself, man. Going to America and fighting in, of all places, Phoenix, Arizona. I mean, of anywhere in America to fight, I think Phoenix, Arizona is not the place to fight, is it? So, but yeah, on a Wednesday as well. I remember
unless you're from Phoenix.
Yeah?
I said, unless you're from Phoenix.
Yeah, exactly. And it was fucking on a Wednesday at fucking 4 a.m. I mean, no one fucking saw that fight, but yeah. Let's see anyways.
I think it was in Glendale, but tomato.
Yeah, it's close. It's right in there.
But yeah.
Throw a rock.
Alright, let's talk about a good card anyway. At the Forum, man. Naoto, excellent card.
Yeah, very, very good card. You gonna start with the headliner?
Yeah, you go ahead. Burchell versus Miura.
Yeah, Miguel Burchell versus Takahashi Miura, the battle of guys that fought Francisco Vargas. Miura obviously lost, and Burchell beat the crap out of Vargas. And, the thing about this fight is I kind of disagree with kind of both narratives that kind of follow it. And those are the two that I'm speaking of are that, Miura has a lot of mileage on him, and so, that's the reason why he's going to lose this fight. That's not necessarily the case. And with Burchell, and then the other one, which is this is going to be an action great fight between these two. The way that I see it, honestly, is that Burchell is going to go in there and beat the living crap out of Miura. But it's not just because Miura has a lot of mileage on him. It's because Burchell is a really good fighter and a gigantic puncher. And Miura is not the most offensively minded fighter. And so I think that's ultimately going to get him a pretty nasty beatdown. Because he's going to keep attacking Burchell and getting hit the entire way that he does it. And, Burchell really cracks, and it's just going to be ugly. Berchelt is very stylistically similar to Francisco Vargas. I mean, especially if you saw that fight, they do punches from pretty much the same angles. It's just that Berchelt's got there a little bit quicker and much harder. So I think he's going to go in there and just completely lay waste to Miura. Miura has the opportunity to catch Berchelt cold or in the early couple of rounds, but if he's not able to do that, then I think he's in big trouble.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Berchelt, boxer puncher, straight punches are excellent. His hooks are very good as well. And Miura, as you said, defensively pretty horrible. He's all left hand as well. He doesn't really do much with the right. Some of his body work is okay, but like he's just a lot of lead right hands to the head. And I think I really hope that they have a good ref and that Miura's team are. They don't put their fighter in too much danger, man. Because if he starts shipping punches, man, they need to throw the towel in, or the ref needs to stop it, man. Because I could see Miura getting seriously hurt.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the thing is, he has that do or die mentality. A lot of people, it's almost like a stereotype, like with Japanese fighters, but he has that mentality of like, you're gonna have to kill me to beat me. Like, I'm not gonna stop coming at you. So yeah, it could get real dicey in there for him, depending on if Berchelt's able to lay him out with one clean one or not.
Which I don't think he. Yeah, the thing is, Miura's a tough fucking dude as well, so he'll probably just take punch after punch. That's the problem. I don't think he'll get laid out clean, but
yeah, he has a really good chin. I mean, I could see it happening if he just kind of gets caught after an accumulation, then gets hit with a blind one. But yeah, I mean, generally speaking, if anything, I think it'll more likely be from accumulation.
Yep. Okay, moving on to the other fight on the card, Joe Smith Jr. versus Sullivan Barrera. I'm tough for this fight, Neota. I like Joe Smith Jr. He's got power. He's kind of like that, just come forward, throw lots of shots attitude, but I'm also concerned as well because, like, in the fight against Fonfara, before he dropped Fonfara the first time, it seemed like he got a bit buzzed. He was getting clipped by Hopkins, even though Hopkins is, even at that age, he's still going to hit you with right hands. But
yeah, stinky shots.
I don't know. Sullivan Barrera's straight shots are really good, but he's a bit chinny as well, man. If you look back at his previous fights, he's been dropped a few times. So I don't know. If I had to pick and put some money in it, I'd probably just favour Joe Smith Jr. But he is very raw. Like when he throws that right hand, he really loads up on it, and it comes. He winds up so far, like the punch really comes from behind him, and I'm thinking, well, with the straight shots of Sullivan, will he maybe just catch him in between and maybe stop him and stuff? I don't know. I'm favouring Smith Jr., but it's to me it's a real 50-50 fight.
Yeah, I think this is really the most intriguing fight on the card, but Sullivan Barrera, like I think even though he might have some of the skills to be able to outbox Smith, I don't think that he really deviates from one game plan enough. Like he doesn't have enough versatility and being able to kind of switch on and off on the fly to be able to do that with Smith. Because I do think that Smith is just going to keep kind of pressing forward and just bombing away at Barrera, hitting whatever's given to him, and eventually be able to kind of break him down and either come ahead in the fight points wise or possibly even stop Barrera late. So I do slightly favor Joe Smith, but I wouldn't count Barrera out because he has power of his own, he has good boxing skills, and like you just said, the straighter punches can get there first for him if he's able to kind of keep up a game plan, able to kind of catch Smith just with the proper timing with him.
Just looking at Smith as well, I think the furthest he's ever been is 10 once and 9 I think once, so the championship rounds will definitely be interesting.
Yeah, this will be the first time he'll possibly go 12.
Yeah. Just looking at Barrera, I think only Barrera's been 12 once against Ward, so for both of them, I guess it's going to be a bit of a challenge. We'll see. Last fight on that card, Neota. Jezreel Corrales versus Robinson Castellanos. Castellanos got elevated into a title shot after that decent win he got against Gamboa. You still there, Naoto?
Oh, sorry. I was on mute. I didn't realize it. What do you call it? Castellanos, normally fights at featherweight, got elevated, or jumped up to lightweight to fight Gamboa, got the big upset victory. Previously, at featherweight, he had just a not fight of the year level fight against Oscar Escandón. Eventually, got stopped by him. But here against Corrales, I do think that he has a shot to win this fight simply because of the fact that Corrales is the type of fighter that he likes to kind of fight at his pace. But if you push him backwards, he's not, he has a little bit of a breakdown somewhat in his style because he doesn't necessarily have all the fundamentals. He's not really like a textbook technical boxer. He kind of improvises in there. He just kind of makes it up as he goes, like an Anselmo Moreno. And then Castellanos is the type of fighter that really you want to push him back in order to expose his flaws. But coming forward, he's, very similar, like akin to like an Orlando Salido, where everything's, pretty tight. He throws sharp punches. He has good power on him. Even has good power from the outside coming in. He's able to kind of catch you with that right cross, just like he did to Gamboa repeatedly as Gamboa was trying to do his rushes in. And so there's a possibility he could catch Corrales in the same way. But I do think that Corrales will wind up being just a step ahead of him. Throughout this fight, he'll be able to kind of, stick and move and box and move with enough fluency that he'll probably be like a round or two ahead the entire 12 rounds, and he'll be able to get, a competitive but clear decision. That's the way I see it going. But I think Castellanos is very much live in this fight. He's a guy that you really don't want to count out of any fight because he'll pull off upsets just like he has before. He did against Caballero, did against Juarez, did it against Rios, did it against Gamboa. So I wouldn't be surprised if he did it again. But Corrales is the man in the division. He did beat Uchiyama. So let's see if he can continue to kind of concretely establish that going forward.
Yeah, I probably favour Corrales slightly, but Castellanos impressed me against Gamboa. Just the basic, one of the basic combinations, boxing the 1-2. And we know Gamboa was a bit chinny, but they were really affecting him, and that was at lightweight where he's coming back down, not to feather but super feather. So I don't know if I'm 100% Naoto. It was quite a while ago when Uchiyama fought Corrales the second time, but towards the end of that fight, weren't there a kind of knockdown that didn't get called?
Well, he was gassing out. He was definitely getting kind of tired, and I don't think there was ever a moment where Uchiyama knocked Corrales down with that, but it didn't get called. I think there was one that Corrales probably should have got on Uchiyama that wasn't called.
Okay,
but
I might be getting
and I do remember in the last few rounds though, Corrales was starting to get a little bit tired. Uchiyama had put in some good body work earlier on, and that seemed to take its toll at least a little bit. So that might be another place where if Castellanos is able to invest in the body, he might be able to pull something off late.
I just found my notes on that Uchiyama fight. I wrote stuff about him shifting. So when he throws the backhand, he'll step forward and go into southpaw. So I wonder if he'll do that again in this fight. But yeah,
I imagine he will. He does it most of his fights.
Yeah, that's
so
his style,
especially against Castellanos, I think that's the type of thing that he's going to have to do. To me, he's going to have to be doing stuff like that. Mixing it up, being real tricky against really high level fighters like this. So that's what I see him doing.
Just saying in my notes as well, I said he was looping his punches and the right hook was pretty wide. So I don't know, man. That 1-2 straight down the middle from Castellanos might do some damage. We'll see.
Yeah, it's possible. This could very well just be a great style matchup for Castellanos because like I said, he's normally really uncomfortable going backwards. So like really, the type of fighter that I wouldn't want to see Castellanos against, like if I was his manager, so something like that, would be him against Burchell, because Burchell would just ramrod forward and nonstop attack him. But guys that are trying to be kind of in and out are the type of guys that Castellanos does really well against. That's the type of fighter that Ronnie Rios was, and he clipped him pretty much every single time, and hurt him damn near every round, then eventually stopped him. So it's possible he might be able to pull that off once again.
Just moving on to the other card now on the East Coast. Who's showing this in the States?
I'm trying to think which in New York, PBC on Fox.
Oh, so that's on Fox.
Yeah, I think Yellow Sugar's playing it too, Cam.
What? Brown sugar?
Yellow Sugar.
Yellow Sugar. I don't think anyone's picked this up. My boy, Mr. Fix from Caffeine and Hip Hop, keep asking me, like, is anyone playing this in the UK? And I know Box Nation have a card during the day, a small hall UK card, and then they're covering the Bichelt card as well. So I can't see Sky picking up this card, so it's a shame. But most probably people will have to stream it or look for something the next day in the UK. But a fight I don't really care about, Figueroa versus Guerrero. I don't really give a shit about this fight. I don't know if you guys agree.
It's two lightweights fighting at welterweight. Two fat lightweights fighting at welterweight. And, Guerrero is well past it, but that still might be enough to beat Figueroa. I mean, I imagine it might be a fun fight, like in terms of, them just going at it and throwing a lot of punches at each other and everything, but Figueroa is a lazy ass that can't make weight anymore, and Guerrero is a guy that's just pretty much fighting for money, the way that I see it. Because if he was really fighting to win, I'd imagine he'd be at 140 or 135. He would have dropped back down. So I don't know. It's tough, but I mean it's a fairly evenly matched fight. So. From a competitive sense, I think it's not bad, and I imagine the winner will probably wind up fighting Brandon Rios or something like that. The ex lightweight, now welterweight tour will roll on.
They should have a tournament at PBC, like the fat guys that are not in their weight class tournament.
Yeah, seriously.
Cam, you're not hyped about that fight?
Hell no.
Why not?
It's terrible, man.
These are two fucking warriors, man. Like, it's going to be a fun fight.
I see your point, but when it's just two guys slapping each other and you don't have that worry that one dude could just end it any time, then it loses a bit of excitement for me.
Yeah, that's true. They both have way more chin than power.
Yeah. But I'm actually interested in the Marcus Brown-Sean Monahan fight.
Yeah, that's a good fight.
Two guys undefeated. From what I'm told, they spar a lot. They know each other quite well. But Monahan's had a lot more experience. He's 28-0. Brown's 19-0. But just watching a bit of Brown today, he had that kind of controversial fight 2 fights ago. I think it was against Kalizic, and I thought he lost that fight. He won it on a split. He was hurt. He was dropped. He was hanging on, holding a lot. If he wasn't a hometown guy, he probably would have lost it. Even in that fight, Kalidic had kind of lost his footing, fell backwards, and Brown threw a legal punch at the body. And he did the same thing against Thomas William Jr. Jr. went down. I think he kind of took a knee, and then Brown hit him with a cheap shot around the back of the head, and he was given like 5 minutes to recover. But it did change the way the fight played out. I think it might have played out a bit differently if that incident didn't occur. But I don't know. Against Collegiate, Brown struggled with just a guy coming forward throwing shots at him. Shawnee does that to a point, but he's not overly aggressive. But Brown does also look like a guy that if you can kind of mentally get to him, if you can just put that pressure on him, I think he could kind of fold. So I'm favouring Shawnee, to be honest, but the last couple of years, Shawnee's kind of regressed a bit. He's gone a bit backwards. He did start to implement a bit of head movement, but then that went out the window. Against
he arguably could have lost his last fight also.
Yeah, against like journeyman where you think he should win comfortably, he kind of struggled. Like you said in that last fight against that Castaneda guy. Like even Donovan George was supposedly one-handed because he hurt his hand and kind of struggled with him, and he was hurt against Consayo a bit. But yeah, I don't know. It is a kind of, I think the loser kind of It's almost finished, really. Well, I think Brown could maybe recover because he's still young, but I'm just trying to look how Shawnee is. Shawnee's 35, man. You know.
Yeah. Honestly, I think Brown's gonna win this fight. I think
Comfortably, or
he's better boxing at range, huh?
Comfortably, or
No, not necessarily comfortably, but I don't know. I just think that he'll be beating Monahan to the punch, and I think that'll probably happen the whole way. Monahan will probably get some licks in here and there, but unless he's able to knock Brown out, I mean, which is entirely possible. Brown isn't the strongest chin guy out there, and his defense isn't that great. It's a fairly intriguing fight, but I don't know. I think that Brown will just be able to kind of stick and move around Monahan. Monahan will be following him around a little bit too much, and kind of leave some opportunities in the ring that he probably should be taking, but doesn't necessarily, and that'll wind up with Brown winning. Close but clear, I'd guess.
Lim, do you have an opinion? Do you care? I'll take that as a no.
No.
Go ahead. You there, Lim? Naota Arthur Spook is also on that card against a dude who has the funniest BoxRec photo. You have to have a look at this photo. Adam Kowaniak.
Yeah, I just looked at it right now.
He looks hilarious, man. He's 15
and
and 0. 15 and 0, but when you look at his opposition, Naota, it's not too bad on someone 19 and 1, 11 and 1 and 1.
Yeah. Who knows how good these guys are?
That's the problem.
Still,
I just looked at one dude. He looks fat, man. So yeah, I don't know.
the
Spook is not bad.
Barboza guy looks like he's reasonably in shape, at least. Although it's only pretty much a headshot. Yeah.
Is he even bummier looking than you, Cam?
That's harsh, bro. I looked after you in Glasgow, man, and this is how you repay me.
It's all good, my man. No, I'm looking forward to the Figueroa Guerrero fight to see who's the bummiest Mexican at that way.
What happens to the loser? Just go home.
No, the loser is the less bummy one. Whoever wins the fight is the bummier one of the two. And then they can fight for ultimate supremacy by fighting either Brandon Rios or Victor Ortiz. But I gotta give them props at least for PBC for putting those two probably in the most favorable market for those two fighters in Long Island. There's a huge Mexican population there, so they couldn't have done a better job in finding a perfect venue for those two fighters. So props to them again.
Great place.
And for the card this weekend at the Forum, I was looking at tickets, and tickets are super cheap, so I'll probably be there, and I'll get there right in time for the main event.
No, you'll get there after that probably, but at least you get opportunity to see Ski Mask again.
Sure. Is he going to go?
As far as I know, he's going, I think.
Yeah. Cool, man. No, that's it, man. Are you about to wrap up the show?
Indeed, Daniel, indeed. Naota, you got any other fights you want to mention or anything else you want to talk about?
Knockout CP Freshmart, man. Knockout CP Freshmart defending his title over in Thailand versus Ray Loretto. Ray Loretto is the Orlando Salido of the strawweight division. A bunch of losses, but came on the last couple of years and pulled off a bunch of big upsets and
does he punch
knocking
people
out
in the
former
nuts?
champions and shit. Huh?
So just cheating ugly bum.
Does he punch people in the nuts?
No, he cracks them right in the jaw and puts them to sleep. But it's a good fight. It's really actually a good fight. The thing is, I favor Freshmart, especially it being in Thailand and everything. I think that just throwing the straight up punches up the middle, he'll be able to beat Loretto to the punch and be able to outpoint him. But I can't necessarily count Loretto out. I think like I said, he's kind of been upset minded the last few years and put together a hell of a streak of wins after having a shitty early career where he was like 1-11 or some crazy shit like that. So, this is a good fight, and I favor knockout, but who knows? He may get knocked out.
kill or be killed.
Yep.
All right, thank you, Leota. Thanks also to all the guys that jumped on earlier, Chemo, Hamada, and Lim hanging about as he usually does. Thank you to all the people in the chat and all the people that download the show week in, week out. We'll be back next week. Peace.
You just listened to the Boxing Coalition.
Oh, dude, man, I love boxing. I fucking love boxing.
A big shout out to the Boxing Coalition.
You're a newbie.
No, I ain't new, man.
If my fucking next door neighbour became the #1 flyweight in the world, you know what I'd do? I'd fucking walk past the cunt.
Derek, how you doing, bro?
I was physically burn you, blood.
I disagree.
First time I hear the song, man, it was fucking badass.
Vamos a Argentina, la concha de su madre.
I see the bomb in him. I get home and she's like, what the fuck? Me and the kid are here. Why don't you get home and talk to us? I'm like, man, you guys don't know shit about boxing.
Kel, how does it feel to be the new IBF champion?
It feels great.
Did we really dive into the black hole right off the jump?
I think he's hiding glass.
Just to play devil's advocate. You want 1 portion of crow or 2 portions of crow?
Give me 2 portions with a supersized fries and a large drink, please.
I can't stand him, what? I'm Scottish.
Fringe side?
But you won't rush Anthony fucking fat ass Joshua, would you?
He's not fat.
How about you tell us what you weigh for your final thoughts?
My weight?
Thank you for listening to the Boxing Coalition. We are live every Monday, 10 p.m. to 1 a.m. UK time, 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern.